me in the ladder match. I'm very much looking forward to that. So Cody against Sammy. We also have the lights out match as well. That is going to be Orange Cassidy taking on Adam Cole. We've got Red Velvet taking on legit Leyla Hirsch. We're going to hear from CM Punk. We're going to hear from Dr. Britt Baker. We've also got a trios match that's going to see Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz taking on Daniel Garcia and 2.0. So, no, like, big title match, if you will. No, like, AEW World Championship or the Women's Championship. The biggest we've got is the TNT match. But, in all fairness, that's still quite a big deal because of everything that's going on with Cody at the moment. Obviously, Cody is a face that the crowd seemingly love to boo, and he won the title from Sammy. He then got, I think, was it COVID? Couldn't defend the belt, so they came up with an interim title. Like, all of this has happened in the space of 4 weeks, by the way, because he beat him on Christmas Day, and so it's only been around about 4 weeks, but in that time, it's been quite the story. Well, tonight we're going to see who is the rightful champion. Is it Cody? Is it Sammy in a ladder match? So very much looking forward to seeing that. That for me is the highlight. Little bit worried about the lights out match. Not kind of. I like Adam Cole. I think Orange Cassidy can be a bit silly sometimes. Certainly when the bell rings. I don't mind him being laid back, but when the bell rings, I want him to turn up. I want him to wrestle. I don't want him to be like, not bothered. This is a lights out match, and I don't know, I can't picture it. I can't picture can't be bothered Orange Cassidy in a lights out match, which is kind of like a no DQ, anything goes, brutal affair kind of a match. Like, it's going to be so brutal that, you know, the lights are turned out and AEW don't want anything to do with it, which I do find really weird because they've put it all over their posters. So the concept of lights out is not something we've seen in WWE. And I know that it goes back to the territory days. And I know that it was something done, you know, in the 80s and you could go way back. But I do struggle a bit with it. Like, it's lights out. We don't want nothing to do with it. But it's the big picture on the main graphic. It's like, don't miss the lights out match. We don't want nothing to do with it, but we're definitely going to show it you. And we're definitely going to give over a chunk of our 2 hours that we've got to this match that we don't want nothing to do with. I don't know. That one's a bit like, But hearing from CM Punk might be all right. Britt Baker should be good. Red Velvet and Leyla Hirsch. It's not had a bad build, that, actually. You know, we've seen them backstage a few weeks, and we've seen Leyla getting very frustrated. She finally lashed out at Chris Statlander and Red Velvet. So, I'm kind of down for seeing that. The trio match as well, as we said. So, yeah, look, there's lots to look forward to tonight, and I'm sure it's going to be a very, very enjoyable show. But for me, it's the ladder match that's going to be my highlight. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, the ladder match. So, yeah, should be good. Looking forward to it. Do you think Cassidy wins tonight, as lights out matches don't count towards wins and losses? Cole is the number 1 ranked opponent going into it, says Daniel. Do I think Cassidy wins? I hope not. I sure hope not. I think you've got someone in Adam Cole. You've got someone in Adam Cole that is very much a massive star. He is a massive star. He is someone that Vince wanted to keep. He is someone that was maybe arguably the biggest face in NXT history. I think, honestly, if you was just to pick one person from NXT that wasn't Triple H or William Regal, you might go with either Johnny Gargano or Adam Cole. He is huge, and he just hasn't felt huge in AEW yet. So putting him with Britt Baker, I don't mind. I think Britt Baker's a big star, and she's definitely going to lend some of that kind of star power to Adam Cole, which sounds crazy. But for me, he definitely needed that. Like, this Undisputed era, I think they've been brought in a bit wrong. I think, they've kind of come in and Kyle O'Reilly is still a bit off with Adam Cole. They don't strike me as like a really united front. Like, I want Undisputed Era to be exactly as they were when they debuted in NXT. I want them to just destroy the locker room. They're not looking for friends. I don't mind the story where, are they working with the Young Bucks? Are they working against the Young Bucks? Can they coexist? I don't mind that. But I do think that relationship of Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly not being quite right still, that's wrong. You could easily explain that away. All you have to do in a promo is just say, I'm so glad. Have Adam Cole saying, we are the united force here in AEW. We are the greatest faction here in AEW. And he could just take a moment to turn to Kyle O'Reilly and say, you're my brother. And I'm so glad we're back on the same page. It really only needed something like that. This is an opportunity that we cannot let pass us by. Kyle O'Reilly's like, I know. Something like that. But instead, they spent a bit of time kind of exploring the fact that they were still at odds with each other. And I don't know, it just doesn't feel as impactful. I want to get up and running with them, man. I really want this to work. I really do like Undisputed Era. But it just hasn't bedded in quite right yet for me in AEW. But there's still plenty of time. So, no, I don't want to be seeing Orange Cassidy win today. I think Orange Cassidy is someone that's got his fans, but they are spending quite a bit of money on Adam Cole. And Adam Cole is someone that I think can go further than Orange Cassidy. I think Orange Cassidy has had plenty of time before Adam Cole came along to, get over and actually get somewhere. And he's always kind of banged against a bit of a ceiling. He's kind of got his fans, and that's about it. The numbers would seem to suggest that he's got his fans. This is where he can get to. He could push back that, but there's going to have to be a few little tweaks and changes. Whereas with Adam Cole, we're only just starting, so it wouldn't really make much sense to bring Adam Cole in and have him lose to Orange Cassidy. I mean, I can't say they're not going to do that. But all I'm saying is that if I was booking AEW, I would be putting Adam Cole over here because they need as much flipping help as they can get. They need to be looking like the faction in AEW. And as I said, putting Britt Baker with them, I thought was a good move. Jensen said, "Hey, I've got COVID and I can't go to the Rumble now. Ah, damn it. Sorry about that, bud. That's awful. I mean, it sucks getting COVID anyway." But being denied going to the Royal Rumble, that extra sucks. So I feel for you, dude. But, I mean, just know that you're not alone. COVID's doing the rounds. There's so many people that have got it and that are struggling with it. But it just kind of extra hurts if you had plans to go to the Rumble. But there'll be other Rumbles. Don't you worry about that. There'll be other Rumbles. Smitster said, I would like to see Orange Cassidy go away for about 6 months and get a new gimmick. Do you know, Orange Cassidy, right, I find him so interesting because I really loved him when I first saw him because I never saw him on the indies. So I was kind of introduced to him when he started in AEW. And so I went back and I watched his indie matches and whatever. And watching a handful of matches, you still can't quite get what the gimmick is. I mean, I thought I understood it. But as time has gone on, I've come to realise that I didn't understand it. Because I thought what it was, when you get up and you've got to go to work, yeah? You're a bit like, oh, God, I just don't fancy today. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And I do think this is why Orange Cassidy is so popular. Because we don't tend to see wrestlers with that mentality of, oh, God, I've got to go to work. But it doesn't say anything about his ability. He could be the greatest wrestler in the world, but it doesn't change the fact that, still he's going to wake up some days and be like, and I kind of really liked that because I think it's relatable. And I think that all of us tend to go through that at some, maybe not Vince, but certainly I've been through that where you wake up and you're just like, I just can't be doing with today, man. I can't be doing with today. I just want to stay in bed. And I think that he came across as quite relatable. So, as I was watching him, I was like, man, is he doing that? Is that his gimmick? That he's kind of portraying that? 'Cause if so, I think people will be able to relate to that. But this is what I was saying earlier. When the bell rings, he needs to go. Like, there has to come a point where he's, like, done with it. And I do think that, you know, the kind of little kicks at the start, whatever, the hands in the pockets, all of that is where it crosses the line for me. Now, I know that we're all going to be different on this, and we're all going to enjoy Orange Cassidy in different ways, but I do think there's a way forward for him. I don't mind him coming down and being like, and just being like, I don't want to be here. But then I think as soon as the bell rings, he needs to work, you know. I kind of think that fighting with his hands in his pockets for the whole match is kind of handicapping him for no reason, and there's never been an explanation for that. In fact, there's never been any character development when it comes to Orange Cassidy, and I think that's a big problem, a big problem, because he's been on the roster now for quite a while, and as we said, there's not been any explanation, there's not been any character development. He rarely talks, which I don't mind too much, but I think if he is going to talk, he needs to then say something. And it would be good if you could just get something. Just, do you know what I mean? Just get given some kind of insight as to what this character's about. Now, I'm sure a load of people will be like, oh, no, he did a shoot interview with Jericho and all this. I don't give a flip about that. I don't give a flip about any of that, because if you watch Dynamite each week, you don't get anything from Dynamite, and you shouldn't have to go off to all these other places to get those kinds of answers. You know, there's people that will just tune into Dynamite each week that will want to, you know, kind of see that character development on screen. So for me, I think that Orange Cassidy is a gimmick that I think it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it gets over with people. It's not that it's a dead gimmick. It's just that it's gone a bit stale. It's not kicked on. There's been no character development. I still don't think many people understand what it actually is. My original interpretation of it, I think, has now, you know, I've come to realize that's not what he's doing. I just think I think it is kind of maybe a can't be bothered attitude, but one that runs into the matches as well. But again, yeah, I think that he really does need, if he wants to go on to be AEW champion, I don't know that he's going to do it with this current gimmick. This current gimmick kind of makes him a bit of an attraction, kind of makes him like the comedy character. He's kind of a bit like the R-Truth of AEW. Is the comedy guy. He's the comedy guy that's got a wacky gimmick, but is he the guy that's going to be a multiple-time AEW champion? No, I don't think so. I don't believe so. I don't even think there's really the willpower for him to kind of get there. You know, look at how much fever pitch there is around Hook. Don't really see that around Orange Cassidy. You did at the start, and they gave him a nice little push, and he had that little feud with Jericho, but I think that kind of killed him off, man. I think that feud with Jericho with that Mimosa match was a real wrong turn. So, bit of work to be done with Orange Cassidy, I think. Little bit of work to be done with him if we want. I mean, like, maybe they don't want to. Maybe his position on the card is exactly what Tony wants. It's exactly what Orange Cassidy is comfortable with. He's doesn't want to be like that guy that carries the belt and whatever. But, yeah. I mean, if that is the case, then no, we cannot have Adam Cole winning. And no, we cannot have Orange Cassidy winning. We've got to have Adam Cole winning tonight. So I will be interested to see which way they go in that match. Absolutely. Shola says, Hook. Yeah, man, you want to talk about someone that's over? Woo! Hooky boy. Hook, yeah, I mean, nothing but praise, really. A couple of things I think they've done wrong. But by and large, I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. I mean, who am I to say, you know, if something's working or not? But I can only tell you what I see. And what I see is someone that really throws it in. No half measures. That was what I really loved about Thunder Rosa when I saw her first time in NWA. No, it doesn't back down. You know, when she's doing her drop kicks in the corner, oh my God, she really lays them in. It's people, look at Volta or Gunter now, with his chops, and how great people loved that Dragunov-Gunter fight and their matches. It's because no half measures, and that's what you get from Hook. No half measures. He is going to go in there, and he is going to do nasty judo throws. Like, when he puts in a submission hold, like the stretch that he puts on. He kind of bows them round. Like, he's not happy just putting it on. He really puts it in. Like, he has been trained that way. He has been told specifically, probably by his dad, don't you ever do anything that exposes this business. Don't you ever do anything that looks like you're just, phoning it in. Don't you dare. Don't you let me down. And he's going out there and he is just lighting it up, man. Because all of a sudden now you can see where the standard is. You can see what wrestling, if it was an actual two people battling away trying to win a match, you can see now that's what it would look like. Not this kind of, nicely ducking underneath, bouncing off the ropes, missing a clothesline, little backflip thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of choreographed acrobatic isn't really how a contest would go between two people that were trying to win a legit match. This is Hook just going in there and laying it in, man. So big Hook fan. I really like him. The criticism I had was that it looked like they were trying to get him like a move he could hit out of nowhere. And QT Marshall was talking to him, and we said the other day Stone Cold would have just stunned QT Marshall. QT Marshall would have been talking at Stone Cold. Stone Cold would have stuck the fingers up, hit the stunner, right? It's a beautiful move because you can hit it out of nowhere. The RKO, you can hit it out of nowhere. Hook went for a suplex. And I don't think you can really do that out of nowhere. I mean, he just kind of, I don't know. I'd have to see it again, and I'd have to see it do it again. But I remember watching it going, oh, I'm not sure. That looks a little bit convoluted. That looks a little bit like I've got to do this, and then rather than just bang. I kind of feel like, I want to see him do it again. But giving Hook a move that he could lay people out with, like a stunner, I think would be brilliant. You had the diamond cutter as well. Jake the Snake had the DDT. I think if Hook had a move where he could just come down, hit it, lay people out, he could, that could be another step up for him. Not only does he lay it in hard in his matches, not only is he quite young, and I'm sure the girls fancy him, and he's got the messy hair, and he doesn't really say anything, so there's a bit of mystery there. But now he's got a move like an RKO, like a DDT. That'd be a good step, that would. So if that is what they're going for, fair play. Because I think that would be a positive for him. But I don't know about that suplex he hit QT Marshall with. We'll have a look. We'll see. We'll see him again soon. And he is definitely one that his stock is on the rise. Daniel said, Johnny Gargano theories are flying around. I can see why it's in his hometown. I think the lights out match being the main event would set him up debuting if the Elite beat down Best Friends. Chicken Nug said, I'm going to call it now that Johnny Gargano appears after the lights out. I'm not totally sold on it, to be honest. This has been the talk of the town for a little while. Because it's in Cleveland, definitely people are like, yeah, they're going to get Johnny. I'm not so sold. I think people think he's going to be there because it's in Cleveland. That's what I think. I think people think he'll be there because it's Cleveland. And obviously, he's not under a WWE contract. But Candice is pregnant. So why is he now going to join AEW whilst Candice hasn't even had the baby yet? Wouldn't it make... And he strikes me as the kind of guy that is going to put Candice first. He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's nah, forget you. I'm going to pursue my dream. Or whatever. I think he's family first, wrestling second. So, could he make an appearance? Maybe. Maybe he could come in for a one-off thing. Or maybe he could come in and then do something. But eventually he's going to have to go because of Candice being pregnant. So, time-wise... doesn't really feel that great. It feels like it would be a bit stop-start. It would feel like he would come in, and I don't even know when she gives birth, to be honest. But, he's definitely going to go away, isn't he, when she does? And she ain't that far off. I saw her not that long ago. She was huge. So I know she ain't that far away. So, I don't know. But he doesn't live in Cleveland either. He lives in Florida. He lives in Florida with Candice, and, I don't know. I'm not sold on it. Could it happen? Sure. Absolutely sure. They could bring him in. They could reach out. They're always looking for little surprises and whatever. So, if it happens, it happens. But I ain't predicting it. I don't. If I had to pick a side and put money down, I would say no. Candice is due in February. Wow, that's not far off, is it? Why is it always Johnny or Bray showing up in AEW? Please stop it. It ain't happening, says Dave. Who will get the most eliminations in the men's and women's Rumble this year? Amos has got to be looking quite good, I would imagine. I would imagine they would want Amos to look good in that Rumble. So, again, we're just predictive. Brock's in it. Brock might have a good little run, but I think if Brock's in it, he's coming in right at the end. But I think Amos, if Ronda's in it, then maybe they'll give Bianca the Iron Woman position, because that's just what Bianca's built for, isn't it, really? She's the EST. So she can survive the longest. She's the strongest, the quickest, all that stuff. So she's kind of built for that, like, eliminating people. And certainly if she's the one that's in the ring and someone else comes down, I'd quite fancy her against anyone. I can't really think of any girl that could come down that would make me think, ooh, I think she's in trouble here. If she went one-on-one with Rhea Ripley, I'd fancy her chances. Any girl that's smaller than her, I would fancy her chances. Tamina, just a bit of a jobber, isn't she? So I'd fancy her against Tamina. Nia Jax isn't around anymore. Maybe Nia, because of her size, might be one to make you go, ooh. But she ain't around anymore. So I don't see that being a problem. Charlotte, I could see Bianca getting the better of Charlotte. Only tricky because Charlotte's like, the current champ. So if Charlotte comes down, I don't think they would want Bianca dumping her out straight away. So I suppose like someone like Charlotte could be a bit tricky. But no, by and large, I'd quite fancy Bianca against anyone. So yeah, I think she stands a great chance of getting the most, and Amos as well. Primo said, have you seen Mattel's tweet post the new images for The Fiend? I did. I don't think it looks very good. It's got like a big mouth. Don't know if you've seen it, but like the mouth is really big. I mean, I must admit, I looked at it and I was like, when did he have that mask? Like the mask looks a bit exaggerated. And then I saw the picture that it was based on, and I must admit there is one mask where he does have a bigger mouth, which I don't think he wore too many times. Granted, we never saw him that many times, so it's kind of based on that. But I still believe that the figure looks off. I still think I think the body and everything looks great. It's the mask, the one head, just looks a bit weird. Looks a bit off. Doesn't look like a Fiend mask that I ever recall seeing. So yeah, I wasn't too sure about that. But I think it comes with a separate head. Anyway, comes with a couple of heads, and then the body itself looked all right. I thought the Alexa looked very good as well. Yeah, they did a good job with the Alexa. Those Ultimate Editions are brilliant. Absolutely love those Ultimate Editions. So, yeah. I bet Brock dances around the ring and then destroys everyone in the ring and then eliminates himself because he doesn't care. How are you doing today? We're doing all right. Doing all right. Harley said, do you want Veer to come into the Royal Rumble, or do you want him to continue to come out each week? Well, I mean, that's a fun one for the community, isn't it, really? That's a fun one for the wider wrestling world as to what would you prefer. I don't know what I would want, actually. I think it's a really tough one. Because it's a great meme, and every week when we see that he's coming soon, it's another week, and it's like, yeah. I mean, it's one of the few highlights on Raw. I've got no confidence that when Veer actually arrives, they're going to do much with him. I don't think when he arrives, this is going to be the arrival of a massive new star. I just think that, like, right now, this is a bit of a meme. We're all enjoying it. That's brilliant. Should we not just keep enjoying it? Should we not just keep, like, enjoying, like, that little segment? I mean, granted, it's only, like, a minute long, if that. But even so, I kind of think, like, once he arrives, it's not going to be as good. I can't imagine Veer coming out and we're all going to lose our minds. We've seen him wrestle. All right, nothing special. Entrance was all right, it's nothing special. We already know what this guy looks like, and they haven't changed his gimmick or they haven't changed his look. Everything looks exactly the same. I don't know about his entrance and his music, but even so, I kind of feel like I know what I'm going to get. And what I'm going to get is one big debut when he finally comes out. That's going to be huge. We're all going to pop. It's going to be amazing. And then I don't think there's much that follows it. I don't think there's much that's going to come after it. I would love to think they've got a plan for him. They've certainly had enough time. But I don't know that I've got enough confidence, to be honest. So you could have him in the Rumble. Do you know what would be good? How about both? How about we put him in the Rumble, we see him, we lose our minds, and we're like, it's Veer. Veer comes out, and he starts eliminating people and all of this, and he looks great. Maybe eventually gets eliminated. A few people have to work together to chuck him out, and then the next night on Raw, Veer coming soon. How about that? How about we get both? So we get him in the Rumble, and we get Veer coming soon the next night on Raw, and then the next week coming soon to Raw. That would be great. It's not as if we haven't seen him before. So that way we get both. Oh, love it. Daniel said it's also Wardlow's hometown. Do you think he might turn or at least tease it in his hometown to get the fans going crazy? I don't know, to be honest, because I think that aren't we meant to be building to like MJF CM Punk? I sort of feel like it's going to happen there. I sort of feel like if it's going to happen, it'll be then. Like, if he does it now, then all of a sudden MJF is going off in a different direction. And what have we been building towards? Like, I kind of feel like, do MJF and CM Punk first, and then have Wardlow turn. I'm sure there'll be something tonight where he, again, heavily teases it. Goes for it, might even lift his fist and go to hit MJF, and like the crowd are going crazy. His hometown are like yesing all this, and he can't do it or whatever, and so it would just goes another week. So I'm sure there'll be something to get the fans going as they think it's going to happen there and then. But I don't think you do it until MJF CM Punk's been done. Is it true you're not a fan of Moxley? If so, does that mean he was always your least favourite member of the Shield? It is true, I'm not a fan of Moxley. But Moxley is different to Dean Ambrose. So Dean Ambrose was someone that was a bit unhinged. He was he my least favourite member of the Shield? I don't know, to be honest. I kind of went through different phases when the Shield were around. Sometimes I like Roman, sometimes I like Seth, sometimes I like Dean. I always thought Dean was pretty good with his no-nonsense promos. He would kind of at times felt like the unofficial leader of the Shield. I thought that was good. I've got a feeling that didn't he win the United States Championship? And I think that maybe Seth and Roman won the tag titles. So it kind of felt like the guy that won the solo title was Dean Ambrose. And he was sort of doing the majority of the talking in the promos. And he sort of felt at times like the unofficial leader. So as a result, he kind of felt a lot like, I never remember their names, but in the A-Team, the guy with the blonde hair, I can't remember what he was called. Not Mr. T, of course. I don't know if it was Hannibal, maybe, or Face, or whatever. But he was like the leader of the A-Team. Kind of Dean Ambrose, I always felt was based on that. And I didn't mind Dean Ambrose. I thought that he brought something a bit different. Like Seth was the one that was like the in-ring guy. Roman was the powerhouse. And then Dean Ambrose was the talker, really, but he was like the one that organized it all. It was like the manager, the leader, but he could wrestle, of course, as well. So I kind of felt like they all played different parts. I think that's what made the Shield so good, was that you didn't just have people doing the same thing. Each of them played their part, and, together, like the Avengers, they became bigger than than if they were just on their own. And I loved it. Yeah, I loved the Shield, one of my favourite groups. But Moxley doesn't strike me as that way now. Moxley now is someone that's unhinged. He does still cut, like, passionate promos, but I don't really feel like they... I mean, like the promo he cut the other day where he was talking about, like, demons and all this kind of stuff, didn't really do it for me. I know that, he's referencing something bigger and the struggles that he's had, but it still didn't do it for me. I still listened to it and I was like, okay. It just didn't really grab me, didn't move me, didn't do anything for me, and his matches just don't either. I mean, his matches just don't do anything. But then, like, he does that kind of deathmatch kind of style, and I just ain't really interested in that. So, no, I'm not a Moxley fan. I get why people like him. I understand why people like him. But for me, when he was in the Shield, he served a slightly different purpose. Edward said, fun fact, Bianca has got the most eliminations. Very nice. Hannibal. Thank you. Hannibal. Yeah, he felt like that to me. Like, in a way, the Shield felt like the A-Team. You had, like, Seth Rollins that was a bit like, is it Face then? Yeah, who was kind of like quite the technical one, the smooth one. Then you had, like, Roman that was like Mr. T, the powerhouse. And then you had Dean Ambrose, who was basically Hannibal, the unofficial leader of it all. So I kind of, I always related them to the A-Team. I always made that connection. Probably subconsciously a bit at the time, but in the years that have followed, it's definitely how I think of them now. Root Beer Float said, when do you think we will see CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson? When do you think the feud will start? Maybe for All Out next year? Or do you think one of them would be champion before they first fight? I'm sure they will be on a collision course. It's hard to say when, because it could be any time, couldn't it? I mean, it'd be impossible to say when. I mean, it looks like it's going to be Bryan Danielson against Moxley. They were face-to-face had a little moment. I kind of think that CM Punk, Bryan Danielson is definitely a match people want to see. Yes, we've had it before in WWE, but it was many years ago. And I think that they've probably got other stories they want to tell first. I mean, I don't know when you would move on from, like, CM Punk at the moment. I think CM Punk is probably more interested in working with Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, MJF, like Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks. He's probably more interested in them matches. Because I think he realizes he ain't got long left. And he probably certainly realizes now that it's harder than he maybe remembers. Because he was churning out classics when he was in WWE. But now it all looks a little bit harder for him. Just seems to be a little bit, which is totally understandable. That's no knock of CM Punk. I'm sure he would agree that it's very difficult. I can't imagine he's going to turn around and go, nah, wrestling's a breeze. Nah, it's easy. I'm finding it really easy. I'm sure he would agree that it's tricky. So if he hasn't got, like, who knows how long he's got? Who knows how long he's going to actually be doing this for? I think the stories that he's come back to tell are the ones with the up-and-comers, and to put a few people over and to work with them in the ring. And, him against Bryan Danielson is definitely a match that, like, fans would like. I don't know how much he's going to care about that too much, because he's done it. He's ticked it off. He's ticked it off in WWE. But I think he would do it in AEW. I don't know if it'd be like a red-hot feud or anything like that. It might just be a one-off encounter for a title or something. But it would make sense to do it because, of course, it's all adding to AEW's video library. And their video library is going to be very important because, when CM Punk retires, and if he's still with AEW, then you can show him against Bryan Danielson and not have to worry about, like, using WWE footage. You can show the clips of when he faced him in AEW. Plus, you never know how long Bryan Danielson will be around for. Bryan Danielson might decide that that's it, I'm done in a year's time, and go off to be a family man, and then that opportunity would have passed by. So I think it is important they do the match, even though it might not be a priority for CM Punk, who I think, as I said, has come back more to work with the younger talent. But putting a timeline on it, I don't know. Write a load of dates on a dartboard, chuck a dart, and there you go. That's as good as what anyone can guess at the moment. The background looks amazing tonight. It's quite nice, and it's quite bright, quite sharp. I do like it. I'm not really a fan of the black background we tend to have with normal AEW, but so it's kind of nice that we've got something quite bright and lively. So I do agree. It's quite an exciting show tonight, as we said. If you have just joined us, we've got quite a good card that we're looking forward to. It's pretty stacked. We've got Cody taking on Sammy Guevara in a ladder match. We've got Orange Cassidy against Adam Cole in a lights out match. We've got Red Velvet taking on legit Leyla Hirsch. We've got promos from Dr. Britt Baker, promos from CM Punk. And we got a trios match, which is going to be Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz taking on Daniel Garcia and 2.0. Ben Russell said, I've been looking forward to Beach Break since last week when the Adam Cole Orange Cassidy lights out match and Cody Sammy match was announced. Trey Gaming, hello, says, Days, WWE files a trademark for Sudu Sar. I think that could be Grayson Waller's bodyguards. And Keith Lee filed a trademark for Limitless and Brian Kendrick. Hang on, what? Keith Lee filed a trademark for Brian Kendrick. I wonder if they're doing something together. Blaze Radio said, I'm ready for Beach Break. I'm in my swimming trunks and I'm on a beach towel. Very nice. Very nice. WrestleBuzz said, have you got any bold predictions or hot takes for the Rumble? We did 2 hours on it, but I mean, I feel like I've done nothing but talk about the Royal Rumble for about 2 weeks, at least. At least because it was about 2 weeks ago we did the Royal Rumble predictions. So I think I feel pretty good. Everything's in that video. I'm thinking Brock loses to Bobby and goes into the Rumble. Reason why I think that is because I think they'll do Brock and Roman at WrestleMania. I don't know that they want both titles on the line. I don't know why they would want both titles on the line. I mean, yes, you can then unify the championships, but I mean, like, are we going to get the champion being on Raw and SmackDown? Both, like, what if it's Roman? Say Roman is the champion and we get him on Raw and SmackDown. Is that not going to be overkill? That's my concern. Is that back in the day, you didn't have to watch Raw and SmackDown because there wasn't a brand split. So unless we're going to get rid of the brand split, but the problem is, if you get rid of the brand split, you don't need to watch SmackDown then. That's how it used to be. I remember when there wasn't a brand split, you had one champ, or there might have still been 2 belts, can't remember. But either way, you watch Raw, and then SmackDown was very missable. It was matches. It was just matches, but you didn't need to watch it. If you missed SmackDown, you could just watch the Raws and keep up with all the stories. A little bit like now, how you could just watch the Dynamites and you're absolutely fine. Like, you don't need to watch Elevation. You don't need to watch Dark. You don't even need to watch Rampage. There might be the odd something that happens on Rampage, but it ain't a problem. You can just watch the Dynamites. If there was someone that was like, I really want to get into AEW, but I don't have much time, surely you would just be like, watch Dynamite. It's 2 hours. Watch that each week. You're done. That's how Raw used to be. But, yeah, I don't know. I do like the idea of just one champion, because I think 2 champions does water it down. But then, equally, I do worry that, well, are you going to overexpose the champion? Because they're now going to have to go on to both shows. How are we going to establish who the number 1 contender is? I mean, like, if Roman is the champion and Finn's the number 1 contender and Roman's over on Raw, what are SmackDown doing? Because they don't have a champion and they can't be building a number 1 contender because it's Finn. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So, I don't know. It seems messier to me to just go to one championship. So that's why I'm thinking something's got to happen. Something's got to happen whereby we don't have champ versus champ. And I think Brock against Roman, and then that frees up Raw to do Bobby Seth or whatever it might be. So I'm thinking something like that. But who knows? Honestly, it could go any which way. It's again, Dave Meltzer reported the original plan for WrestleMania was that it was meant to be Roman versus Brock, and it was meant to be Seth, because he was meant to win at day one, defending against Kevin Owens or Bobby or Big E. Probably the way things are going now, you would say Kevin Owens would have been the match. So say Seth Kevin, Brock Roman would have been the matches. So this was only a few weeks ago. I mean, it really suggests that before around day one, which was only 27 days ago, so not that long ago, they had no plans to unify the belts. And 27 days ago, there was no plans to put the belt on Brock. It was only because Roman got COVID that Brock went into that match and he ended up winning, like in a shock win. But I don't know that means that they're going to unify belts and all of this. Like, I really feel like that's a jump. It's a bit of a jump to get from where we are to, wow, they're just going to have one championship now and they're going to unify the belt and all of this. I ain't sold on that. So, yeah, that's why I'm thinking, but it might not happen at the Rumble. It could happen in Saudi Arabia, of course. But, because we've still got to go to Saudi Arabia before WrestleMania. And they haven't announced anything for March, I don't believe. I'm sure they will. There'll be something. I can't imagine they're going to go March without a show. So, there's still March, whatever's going to happen in March. It's normally something like Fastlane, isn't it? We're on the fast lane to WrestleMania, so we'll see. Daniel said, looks like AEW need time cutting from tonight. They've just announced Sammy Cody's entrances will be made 5 minutes before the show, so both of them will be in the ring when this thing goes live. Have they done that so that people don't boo Cody? Have they done it for that reason? Do you think? Can't be a time thing, can it? Do you know what, right? Brian Last on Jim Cornette's podcast said that he's heard from people in AEW that said that Cody is a nightmare. I must admit, I do believe him. It's not Jim Cornette that said it, it's Brian Last. And Brian Last seems to be quite level-headed if you've listened to the Jim Cornette podcast. Like, Jim Cornette's the one that comes out with the outrageous stuff. Brian Last quite often kind of goes, no, don't say that. No, you can't be doing that. Like, he tries to rein Jim Cornette in. He was the one that was like, I was talking to some people and apparently he is a nightmare. Like, they haven't got a clue what he's doing or what he's thinking. And, yeah, there's a bit of heat on Cody behind the scenes, apparently, at AEW. And I wonder, I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at, like, it's very unusual for, like, he could have turned around maybe and said, I just want to start straight in the ring. I don't want the entrance. I don't want to be coming out and, like, having people booing me and everything. I want to be a face. I want to get over as a face. So I wonder if that's why they're doing that. Don't know. Makes my mind ponder. They need to bring back Great Balls of Fire. Indeed. They always do the entrances before the show, says Bobby. Brian Omega and Punk matches. Well, they don't always do it before the show, but they have done it before the show before. Brock Lesnar sucks years ago. Brock said in UFC interview he hates pro wrestling and WWE, so it beats me why anyone would cheer for Brock Lesnar, says JR. I don't really care what Breck says, to be honest. I don't care if he says that he hates all the fans and he hates WWE and he thinks wrestling sucks. None of that bothers me, because what supersedes it, what is bigger than all of that for me, is Brock Lesnar the baddest man in professional wrestling? And for me, the answer comes back, yes, he is. He is the baddest man in all professional wrestling. And I think part of his gimmick is not caring what anyone thinks. Now, granted, now they're trying to get him over as a face. And I do agree that people that booed him before that are cheering him now maybe have short memories. Because for me, I've always been a fan. I've always loved Brock. I loved Brock when he was around the first time, especially when he was in UFC. That was a big reason why I got more into UFC, was to watch Brock. And then when he came back against John Cena and everything, and I still loved it. So I've loved him as a heel. I love him as a face. I don't care what he does. I mean, like, he doesn't care what I think about him, and I know that, and I accept it. Like, if I'm a fan of him, he doesn't care. If I'm not a fan of him, he doesn't care. If he doesn't even know I exist, and I'm fully aware of that. I accept that. He doesn't care about me, but I don't care about that. For me, he is cool. He is the baddest man in professional wrestling. When his music hits and he comes down. If he wanted to, he could cause carnage, absolute carnage against anyone. I don't know of anyone that you could put in there that he would struggle against, to be honest. It'd be very interesting to see a real shoot fight between Bobby and Brock. That would be interesting. I think that Brock would still come out on top, personally. Although saying that, I'm not so sure now. I mean, he did have diverticulitis, which really put an end to his MMA career. And I'm not quite sure, if Bobby could take a few shots from Brock and get in there and get a few shots into the body. I don't quite know how tender Brock is these days, which is a weird thing to say. But, like, that diverticulitis is moody. I mean, I think he had to have, like, a large part of his intestines removed. So I'm just wondering if, like, Bobby Lashley was to really fire in some big body shots. Like, I don't quite know what that would do to Brock, to be honest. I don't quite know how he would react to that. It might be fine. He might be healed. They might have got rid of the bits that are causing him problems, and he might just be, solid as a Brock. But, yeah, that'd be interesting. I would be interested to see that. But against literally Roman Reigns would be destroyed. Anyone thinking Roman stands a chance, jog on. Brock Lesnar's been in there with some of the baddest men in the world, locked in a cage, and he won the UFC World Heavyweight Championship. There is nothing that Roman's going to do to Brock that's going to cause Brock any problems. And same with Seth or anyone like that. Like, really, you're looking at Bobby, and that's about it. But I'd still probably fancy, I think Brock would still open favourite if they had a real fight, So, for me, it comes down to who's the baddest man in all of wrestling, who is legit the one that should be at the top of the tree, that you believe in the most, and for me it would be Brock. And I don't care if he doesn't like me. Bobby was an MMA fighter, and he can go. It's true, but he'd never got to UFC. He was never UFC level fighter, and I agree. It would be very interesting because I know that he's got some MMA training, but again, as he had, I don't believe he had. He wasn't in MMA as long as Brock was. He never reached the heights that Brock reached. I mean, Brock not only got to the UFC, but he dominated the UFC. He was the king of the UFC. He was the heavyweight champion. And I think, like, Bobby was in Bellator, I believe. So, I don't know, it'd be interesting. You're not wrong. He was in MMA. But Brock just at a higher level. Brock's last return to UFC was spoiled because he couldn't take the body shot, says Master Chief. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know where he is now in regards to all of that. I don't know if he's got better. I can't in my head place the surgeries and, like, what did he go into that last fight, which I think was UFC 200? Did he go into that after he'd had all of his surgeries and everything? And then we found out that there was, like, drugs involved and whatever with that, and I think it's been a no contest now. So that whole thing was a whole mess anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Everyone enjoy Beach Break. See you tomorrow. See you later, Dave. Now that WWE is officially accepting offers, I wonder if the Saudis plan on putting in an offer. What do you mean? WWE accepting offers? Haven't seen that news. Brock clearly cheated at UFC 200. Days, off the top of your head, what are the best and worst feuds that you've witnessed of all time? Man, I mean, there's a lot, isn't there? The first one that would come to mind would be Undertaker against Shawn, Undertaker against Triple H, WrestleMania 25, 26, 27, 28. I mean, that results in Shawn's retirement. It results in 4 of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. I think that those matches took Undertaker to a different level. I think that he was incredible. He was revered. He was an icon. He was a legend. He was one of the all-time greats. For me, he is now in the conversation of arguably being the all-time great after those 4 matches. A lot of people, might point to Ric Flair, but there'll be plenty of people that say Undertaker. And I think that what he did at 25, 26, 27, 28, end of an era and all of that was just incredible. And they're all linked as well, because obviously the first one's against Shawn. Second one is Shawn desperate to win, retirement match. Third one is Triple H wanting to get revenge on his friend. And the fourth one is the end of an era. The fourth one is Triple H's last shot. And Shawn Michaels is the special guest referee. So that's an incredible feud. Incredible. The worst one that comes to mind might be Booker T and Triple H. Mainly because there was a bit of like a racist undertone. It wasn't... You can take it a few different ways, but I totally understand why people say that feud was racist. And it's a horrible feud. I genuinely don't know if that was the intention of the writers, and I'd like to think Booker T gave an okay on some of the stuff that was included in that feud. But, there was stuff in there that was not... it was very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. And, I mean, you can't even say that Booker T winning at WrestleMania would have made it all right, because it doesn't take away the discomfort. But I suppose, in a way, at least Booker T would have got his moment to in the spotlight. Like, he's overcome all of that, and here he is the winner. And then, they had Triple H win. So Booker T didn't even win. So the whole thing was just a complete disaster. It was awful. It was just awful. So, that was horrific. And then, of course, you think about Katie Vick, and you think about Triple H, and the whole Katie Vick storyline. I mean, that's infamous. That's, A lot of people would say Undertaker Kane. I was never crazy about it. I was never crazy about Undertaker Kane, but a lot of people say that's the best. But for me, it definitely went into silliness at times. But I do like the idea of Undertaker having a brother. I do like that idea, and I thought that some of Kane's stuff was really cool. His look was really cool, especially when he had the full face mask. I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, I must admit that one, I get why it's up there, and I think if you used to do a poll, a lot of people would say that was the best, and I get why. For me, I don't. No, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it up there. I think there's many more that I much preferred. And then if you think like more modern, probably Tommaso and Johnny. That was amazing. Tommaso and Johnny, they were in DIY together. That split apart. That was incredible. So and Ric Flair, Sting. That was amazing. I mean, we just sit here naming feuds, but those are the first ones that come to mind anyway. So. Ben says, I'm starting streaming on Twitch on the 17th of February for an AEW watch-along. Have fun, bud. Shola said, I legit thought they were brothers in real life. I don't think you're alone in that, in all fairness. I think a lot of people did. Daniel said, Brock would beat Bobby. He has the more credentials and succeeded way more in MMA than Bobby, who only had a few fights in Bellator. Was nothing more than Brock also had surgery years ago. Days Killer Cross replied to my tweet today. Was it, please stop sending me those pictures? Was it that one? I bet it was. I mean, I've had to send you that one before as well, haven't I? So, what was it? Let us know. That's cool. A lot of people have been body shaming Adam Cole lately, even dirt sheets like Ringside News. What are your thoughts on this? And thoughts on Adam Cole's physique? I don't mind. I am a bit torn, to be honest. I'm a little bit torn because, as you say, body shaming is obviously not acceptable. That's a form of bullying. You can't go around body shaming people. But then, if you flip the coin over, like, physique is so important, and it's something that does get mentioned. You know, if someone's got a really great physique, then that gets spoken about, and we know that Vince likes bigger guys, and we know that Vince likes, like, natural bodybuilders and muscle, even steroid bodybuilders he doesn't mind, but he just can't have them around anymore. So we know that physique is very, very important, and I think if it is from a constructive criticism point of view, then I can understand why it's being said. If it's like body shaming, bullying, just really laying into him, and it's not constructive, then I don't think there's a place for that. So in regards to Adam Cole, a constructive criticism would be, I really want Adam Cole to get over, and I really want him to succeed in AEW. And I think in order for him to do that, because he is on the smaller side compared to your Wardlows, compared to your Lance Archers, compared to, you know, some of the people they have, like Powerhouse Hobbs, whatever, that are just bigger. Like, being a smaller guy, you're probably going to need to stand out in a different way. You're probably going to need to have a bigger physique than what he's got. So, again, it's a fine line. That is another way of saying he needs to put more muscle on. He's too thin. But there's a constructive way of doing it, saying that in order for him to, like, really connect with the fans, he might have to go and do that. Rather than, he's too small, he looks like a 12-year-old boy kind of a thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a way of doing it. For me, I believe there's a constructive way of doing it, and there's a way where, as you said, you know, just body shaming. So I do think he would benefit from putting on more muscle, to be honest. I mean, I think that in order for us to believe that he can reach the mountaintop and be, unless they're going to present him as just an incredible wrestler who can just tie people in knots, and he's just, do you know what I mean? Like Mr. Miyagi. Don't matter what he looks like. Don't matter that Mr. Miyagi's an old man. He's just going to beat you up anyway. Like, if they're going to present Adam Cole that way, that's fine. But as he keeps struggling and losing matches and all of this, like, it's all kind of adding together, isn't it? You as a fan, you kind of got to hang your hat on something. And one of the easiest things to hang your hat on is his look. I mean, Bret Hart famously said a wrestler's got 3 areas that they need to focus on: their promos, their look, and their wrestling ability. Now, you would say that Adam Cole has got a really great promo style. He's got really great wrestling. It probably is the look that lets him down. So I don't disagree that he needs to improve his physique. I think he does need to improve his physique. But there's a way of saying it. That's my thoughts. William said, I miss the Mr. Perfect thinking man wrestler. Yeah, man. He was. He had great psychology, Mr. Perfect. He was wonderful. I mean, he really thought things through, and he was very crisp and very clean at everything that he did. He always put on great matches. I don't feel like we saw everything Mr. Perfect had to give, to be honest. I actually think that I don't know why they didn't position him higher up the card. He was kind of around the mid-card title. I don't remember him, and someone will correct me, I'm sure. I don't remember him fighting for the WWE Championship. Can't remember it. Can't remember it at any pay-per-view. I don't remember reading about it from any house shows. I'm sure it happened. I don't remember it. So I remember him being like going after Intercontinental belts and all of this. I remember him having that great loser leaves WWE match with Ric Flair. And as I said, I'm sure there's probably an episode of Raw or there's a house show like where he had matches with Bret Hart when Bret was champion, but I never saw them. And I don't remember them being mentioned. So I don't know, I feel sorry for him that he never quite got to that level. Right, here we go then anyway. We're turning our attention away from Mr. Perfect and we're turning our attention to Sammy Guevara and Cody, who are both in the ring. Sammy has won 11 of his past 12 matches. The one and only loss came to Cody. It's not a bad reaction for Cody. I just don't get AEW fans. Don't get it. If Cody's in the ring, you boo. Ohio loves Cody. They just ruin it for themselves. Right. Here we go. It's a red-hot way to start the night, definitely. In fact, this was the match I was looking forward to the most. The belts hanging above the ring. This one could go for quite a while. Can I just say, I love ladder matches that are one-on-one. Love ladder matches that are one-on-one. It's one of my favourite matches. It's a one-on-one ladder match. The problem with modern wrestling is that it's always multi-man now. It's always like 6 people in the match, 8 people in the match. It's Money in the Bank. It's Intercontinental WrestleMania 31 type deal. But one-on-one, I mean, you don't get it that often. One-on-one ladder matches anymore. Side headlock. Against the ropes goes Cody. Showing off the guns. Someone dumped some purple shampoo on Cody. But flipped by Sammy. Nice drop kick. Kip up. Certainly the crowd enjoying that. So, Sammy in the one corner, Cody over in the other. Big Sammy chant from this crowd. On at ringside. Cross is wrestling Jacob Fatu on FCW on Fight. I said I can't wait for the match and that it's great to see him back. It's very cool. Over in the corner goes Sammy. Cody grabbing Sammy's leg. Sammy goes down. Kick out to Cody. Cody going over into the corner. Cody steps out and I like how they do something and then they kind of regroup and then they'll lock up something and then they'll regroup. Bit of showmanship here from Cody. Cody looking to test the strength. Old school. Don't see tests of strength anymore. Works on the arm of Sammy. We haven't seen one there either. Cody hasn't taken his weight belt off, by the way. Cody's still got his weight belt on. I think it very much upset him when they threw it back. Very much upset him. I flipping loved it. Kicks the midsection. Cody goes down. He was looking for the strike to the head, but it was blocked by Sammy. Sammy reversing. Round the back of Cody. Sammy goes to the outside, and he's going to grab the ladder. Wish those ladders were coloured, by the way. You know, they've done orange, and we've had yellow. I think that's just nicer than black. Gold ladder would be good, actually, because there's gold in the AEW logo. Do you remember Cody? Do you know, we were talking about WrestleMania 31. I think Cody was in that match. I think it was 31 where Cody goes underneath the ring and pulls out the polka dot ladder in honor to Dusty. That was a cool moment. That was cool. I think Dusty had just passed. I can't remember if that was 31 or 32, you know. So they've done it a few times. Days, just because Brock has been the king of UFC and whatnot doesn't mean that he would beat Bobby now. Take it from someone that has done combat sports for almost 10 years. Over the railing, forearm strike by Sammy. Yeah, well, hello, we're proper in with the crowd here. Proper in with the crowds. Strike to the midsection by Sammy. Forearm strike by Sammy. Cody again throwing in some shots, and Sammy getting driven back a little bit. Sammy's over by the railing as Cody charges. Big clothesline, and Sammy goes over the top. Oh, that's nice. There's a kid in the front row that was like, "Hi, Cody." And Cody's like, yeah, gives him a high five. Cutter by, where did he actually come from? Where did Sammy come from? He delivers a cutter in with the crowd, which is a really nice spot. That's a nice spot. I don't know where he came from. I don't know if he jumped off the edge of the ring or whatever. But there's no soft landing there. That's all concrete floor out there, so. Sammy going up and grabbing a ladder. If you get a chance to see that spot, I'm sure it'll be all over Twitter. It's definitely worth looking at. Sammy delivering like a cutter to Cody. Cody getting back into the ring. I did wonder where Cody was. He jumps back in. Then just noticed for some reason the lights just went a different colour on the crowd. It just went blue and then it went red. It's like a red now. Sammy driving the top of the ladder into the face of Cody. Razor Ramon walked under the ladder in that HBK Razor ladder match. Apparently it's confirmed Ronda will be back for WrestleMania, but not confirmed for the Rumble. Cody grabbing Sammy. Cody goes into the ladder. Sammy quickly runs up. Cody falls to the outside. Wow, Cody able to get back in very quick there. Sammy was fast. Against the ropes. They both collide into each other. Both wrestlers go down. I think Tony is such a bad commentator. I was just listening to Tony Schiavone there, and he was like, we are so enjoying this match. There's something so exciting about... I always find that if someone tells you that something is so exciting and that they're really enjoying it whilst the match is going on, rather than telling you what's happening, kind of, I don't know, it says to me that they're trying to convince themselves they're enjoying it. You know, I'm really enjoying this match right now. Just shut up and tell us what's happening. Right now, Cody's going for a big superplex from the top of the ladder. And he is! Oh, massive spot! Massive spot. Now, that has to win the match. That has to win the match. He's just suplexed him off the top of the ladder. Wow. That is great. This is a really fun match. It's a really fun match. That is a big superplex. There's a "This is awesome" chant that's broken out in the crowds. Oh, I do love. The ref was holding the ladder, was he? That had the ref's help. Oh, I didn't even see the ref holding it. Oh, I suppose that's difficult, isn't it? Because Cody is on the one side. All the weight is on the one side of the ladder. So how do you stop it from tipping over? You'd have to put another ladder. That would have been good. Imagine if Cody had put a ladder through one of the rungs on the other side to stop it tipping over. That would have been better than the ref holding it down. Because I'm sure eagle-eyed viewers like yourself are highlighting that on Twitter. And that's a shame because the spot was really good. The ladder is actually twisted and bent and broken. Just seeing Aubrey on the outside. This is good stuff. That was a huge spot. This is the stuff that we replay for years, says Master Chief. Sammy grabbing the leg of Cody, pulling him out the ring. You guys might be at commercial break now. I'm not too sure. The only good babyface match is the one where... The only good babyface match is one where there is a turn. Here we go. Cody with the ladder. Did you hear the crowd boo Sammy on the intros? I didn't actually, no. I didn't. I heard a few Sammy chants. I think maybe this crowd are a bit split. Ladder driven into the midsection of Sammy. The camera should have done a bit better of hiding the ref, says Shola. Alex said, what part of the AEW arena design would you change? I would have a single circle walkway and not have a wooden table by the timekeeper. I don't know, to be honest. I don't really mind the heel and face tunnels. I think it's something a bit different to WWE. I don't really mind it. I think you could have better, but I don't really mind it. Right, we're back in the ring, and we've got Cody with Sammy. Oh, straight into the hinges. Straight into the hinges of the ladder. That looked moody, man. That looked moody. Robert, shout out to you. So we've got Sammy having his legs put through. 15 minutes into this. 15 minutes into this match. That looked rough. And it's not a bad little match, this, at all. Figure four through. It doesn't really make any difference there, does it, that ladder? I don't think that ladder makes any difference whatsoever. It's a figure four through a ladder. It's basically a figure four. So, again, figure four and Sammy. Cody breaks it for some reason. I'm not sure why. Legend Killer, hello. West Indies beat England. Okay. Haven't really been following it, to be honest. Figure four through a ladder. Is there anything else on Ronda you've seen today? No. Just the same talk of will she be there. Jaden Sanchez, shout out to you. They're trying to make us believe the ladder is making that figure 4 hurt more. Well, I mean, a figure 4 is still painful. Chop coming in by Cody. He's got Sammy back in the corner, straight to the midsection. Sammy pops up, big clothesline. Cody goes down, and again. Into the corner goes Sammy. Cody goes into the corner, straight to the midsection. Top rope enziguri. Cody grabs a ladder. He throws it at Sammy. Sammy gets his hands up. I'm never really sure about those spots because they clearly get their hands up, and they have to get their hands up. Because, you know, getting hit in the head actually with a ladder would be moody. But I always think, like, if it's going to look like that, then maybe don't do it. I'm sure it hurts his arms, though, so I'm sure it does still have some kind of an effect, but clearly hit him in the arms. And you've got JR trying to tell me it hit him in the face. Sammy over in the corner. Aubrey is holding the bottom of the ladder. The ref's holding the bottom of the ladder. Sammy. So, Sammy with a massive, like, RKO cutter. On Cody, it's a great spot. It's a great spot. But I do agree. I mean, I was looking for the refs holding the ladders then. I mean, you could actually see Aubrey reach in from the outside to hold the ladder for Sammy Guevara. And then that other ref was holding both of the ladders. I suppose it's just more important that they just get the spot done so they can get it out there and people can buzz about it, get it on social media. But all of a sudden, then you do look at it and go, they're only doing it for that reason now. They're only doing it so that it'll get shared on social media. They're not doing it because it's part of the match and these two men are trying to beat each other. Cody climbing up. Yeah, it's so interesting. Why does he keep holding the ladder? Why? We've got it's too much. It's too much. I mean, a crossroads off the ladder after seeing the cutter off the ladder and the cutter on the outside. It's just become a performance now. It's like, let's set the ladders up. I'm going to hold the ladders for you, lads. Here we go. Do another spot for them. Like, what's the next spot going to be? Oh. Stop being a match. Stop being a match. I love that first cutter. The cutter in the crowd, I was like, yeah, man, this is really good. And I didn't notice the ref holding the first one until you like pointed it out with that massive superplex. For me, up to that point, I was like, yeah, this is good. This is good. But like now that they're just doing spot after spot after spot and the referees are holding the ladders so they can perform these spots. Now they're holding on to Cody drops down. Cody was holding onto the thing that holds the belts. 20 minutes gone in this already. I don't know if there's a time limit, actually. I'm not sure. Now the ref has moved the ladder out the way, says Rob. The ref is annoying, said Storm's Elite. Oh, God. So frustrating. This is just like AEW. Like, they do amazing things, but they go too far. Like, they can't just have a great ladder match. They have to try and do all these massive spots that, like, will go all over social media and catch people's eyes. But for me, it then takes away from the match, the actual match itself. Kick to the side of the head by Cody. And now Fuego's coming down. Oh, my God! Do one boom on. Glock. Glock him. Glock him on. Glock him. Fuego del Sol gets planted down. Kick to the midsection. Cody goes over the top rope to the outside. I thought Arn was there to deal with outsider. I thought Arn was there to deal with people that came down. Why didn't Arn deal with Fuego? Okay, so that's is it GTH thing? That gets hit on the outside by Sammy. Sammy grabbing another ladder. I'm guessing this is a bigger ladder. Fuego, get out of there. The ref should climb the ladder. Strikes coming in by Sammy. Even the crowd is booing another ladder. Yeah, well, I think this one is a bigger ladder. But, I mean, back in the day, you only had one ladder. And that is really back in the day. We're talking, like, Brett Shawn, the first ladder match. I think even at WrestleMania 10, there was only the one ladder in the entranceway. I appreciate that was many moons ago. This should be known as a ladders match now. Shouldn't it? They shouldn't call it a ladder match. They should call it a ladders match. They always have more than one these days. Time for the next spot. Sammy on top of the ladder. Make sure to share this on your social media. He comes crashing down onto Cody. The ladder that Cody was on didn't break. Yeah, that probably wasn't fun. All right, Cody's off the ladder. Sammy's getting back into the ring. I think he's all right. That could have been a bad injury there. Sammy grabbing the ladder. Cody on the outsides. I kind of wish it wasn't a spot fest. Ladder Mania? This match sucks. It's overbooked. Arn looks mad. Oh, probably wondering what's happened to professional wrestling. That's probably what he's thinking. Right, both guys on the top of a ladder right now as the belts are swinging away. That was nice. I like that spot. I like that bit. He actually gets the belt thing, smashes it into the face of Cody. Cody goes down, and that's going to give Sammy the victory. Sammy has won. Sammy's the winner. He clocked him with the belts. He did. That was nice. So, Sammy has got the TNT championships. I did wonder if I wondered if one of them said interim, but it doesn't. That would have been nice if they'd have put interim on one, but I think it was like a last minute thing, wasn't it? So I don't think they've got an actual interim belt. Defo, the right man won. Tahil said people are saying the worst ladder match ever. It wasn't a match, it was a spot fest. Thank God it's over. That was a great match, said Liv and Zelina. Stan. Cody should have won to have more heat. Was overbooked, but amazing. I enjoyed the match, said J14. I've seen many of those spots before similar. It's like what Undertaker said a while back. There's only so many of these spots you can do before they become useless in making people happy. Right, well. AEW fans, I think, will love it. And many people won't. I think people will be split on it, to be honest. But I wouldn't be surprised to see like AEW fans going crazy about it online. Right, we're out in the snow. I thought we was at a beach this week. Where are we? We've got Powerhouse Hobbs. We've got Ricky Starks with the FTW Championship. And a very cold Tony Schiavone. Okay, coming up next. Okay, so Wardlow's coming out. 2-on-1 handicap match. Mr. Mayhem? I didn't know they were calling him Mr. Mayhem now. Wardlow's Mr. Mayhem? I used to read the Mr. Men books. I don't remember Mr. Mayhem. 2-on-1 handicap match. So, is it Wardlow? Welcome home, War Daddy. Are they the Mayhemettes? A couple of ladies in the crowd with Mayhem shirts on. So, Wardlow versus Jobbers. That's what we've got. Hometown Pop. 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 Burberry chair. Good grief. I am thirsty, but I don't want to move. Now Cody can be in the Rumble, says AEW fan. R.I.P. Jobbers match, says Anna. Charging into these jobbers. Looking for... What's the back of his tights say? It's a money shot on the back of that jobber. So, Powerbomb. Powerbomb number 1. Crowder into Wardlow here because it is his home. Another power bomb. He's looking for another one here. Crowder loving it. He really lays those power bombs in as well. Boom. Yep. He's looking for another one. He power bombs the one guy on top of the other guy. 1, 2, 3. Done. Done. Thanks for coming. I did wonder if we were going to see MJF come out. So, Wardlow. Gets the job done. Shawn Spears makes his way down. Shawn Spears seems to be loving what Wardlow just did. CM Punk's going to speak tonight. I do enjoy watching the Wardlow murders, says Doppelganger. When did the Mr. Mayhem thing start? I have no idea. No idea. I haven't heard it before, to be honest. I'm wondering if they maybe tried to get it over tonight. Shola said, the show is moving fast. Hall of Fame this year, inductee pick Undertaker, APA, X-Pac, Bam Bam, and Vader, said Jordan. Right, commercial break. Gives us a chance to get a breath after pretty non-stop 30 minutes there. Why are they pushing the 2.0 jobbers? I think they kind of like them, don't they? I don't think they're a tag team that are going to get massively over or are really expected to get massively over, but I think they're just like a really steady tag team that I think the Young Bucks kind of appreciate. So I think they're just quite happy giving them little things on the... they might have known them as well. I don't know if they maybe knew them before. But I don't really expect them to go on and achieve a great deal. But they're all right. They're quite entertaining. I thought they were all right in NXT. Turn on Jericho. He's holding Santana and Ortiz back, says Heather. They used Mr. Mayhem since he first came out, says Justin. Never seen it before. Never seen it in his title thing. I don't even remember him ever being referred to as Mr. Mayhem. Did the Mr. Mayhem stuff start when Wardlow started the squash matches? CM Punk promos are must-see TV, said Pip2323. Yeah, so we are at commercial break, and we've had 2 matches so far. We've had the ladder match. We've had a Wardlow squash match. It means that we've still got to hear from Britt Baker. We've still got to hear from CM Punk. We've still got the lights out match. We've still got Red Velvet against Leyla Hirsch. We've still got that trios match. Don't know if there'll be any other... I'm guessing there will be some other impromptu matches that maybe weren't announced in advance. I don't remember Wardlow being announced in advance, but I mean, that's a bit of a no-brainer because of him being... that being his home. So, is it Ohio that we are? So, I'm sure there will be... we've only quarter of the show gone. So, I'm sure there will be other things. Don't know if there'll be any surprises. Don't know if we're going to get Johnny Gargano. My gut feeling is no. But we might get something. There could be some sort of surprise. We're going back, and we've got people already in the ring, so... Looks like it's going to be Jericho. This is seemingly not a night for too many entrances, because, as you said, I think 2.0 are already out there. So, I'm going to say Inner Circle versus Garcia and 2.0. There we go. I'm tired of them singing his theme. Was that a hint that the Hardy Boys are coming? Well, I do think Jeff will be on his way to AEW when he's able to. I don't know when he'll be able to. But got to think AEW would love to get someone like Jeff Hardy. The disrespect they're showing to Jericho is disgraceful. What is your rating on the ladder match? What, out of 5? 2.5. 2.5. I was at one point. I was at about a wow. I mean, I was really enjoying it. At one point, I might have been pushing a 4, but as it just kept more and more spots happening, and it just stopped being a contest. It really was just like, right, we're going to do this spot now. It just felt like what they could have started doing is going. They might as well have got a microphone and gone, ladies and gentlemen, this is the exploding cannonball. Thank you. And then the referees hold the ladders for them. They climb up and they take a little bow before they do the piece they're about to do, and then they do it. It just kind of felt like it turned into that. Thank you. Thank you. For our next trick, we're now going to do the floating nun. Thank you. And then they go off and they do that one then. And we sit there and we go. So, yeah. Disappointing. Just think about my first relationship. Okay, William. I enjoyed the intimacy. I never admit it in person. Well, thank you for admitting it here. Really appreciate that. Hardy Boys in AEW would be great. I agree with that. Right, we've got... we are underway with this one. And a little advert for... what I don't even know what they're doing. They're doing something. A tour, I believe. Dynamite returns and Rampage debuts in Texas. It's going to be AEW's South Carolina debut as well. That's interesting. They're going to some new places. Splash 1, 2, kick out. So Aubrey, the referee for this one. And we are underway with this. They do need trios belts, don't they, really? There's quite a few trios that you could make in AEW. The only problem is if you have a trios championship, does it take away from a tag team championship? Could you have a tag team and a trios division? I don't know that you could. I think a lot of tag teams are trios as well. Kind of like Santana and Ortiz, you know, you just need to put like a Jericho with them and then they're a trio, or a Pac with them or something, or a Kingston. Or they can go into like tag team. I don't know if you could. I don't know if they could both exist within AEW, tag and trios. Because there will come a point where just everyone's got a belt. Face first by Santana and Ortiz. Double drop kick. Yeah, no interest in tagging in Jericho here. Jericho tags himself in with a back slap. Wow. So Santana and the story, this is quite an interesting story. So Santana and Ortiz don't want to tag in Jericho. There's real dissension within the inner circle. I like that. Definitely adds an interesting wrinkle to this. Kyrie saying in the Rumble, maybe. I feel like trios are a faction thing, and there's lots of factions in wrestling. The tag thing is petty. Problems in the inner circle, said Greg. Over into the corner. I don't really get what the thing is, to be honest. Is it something to do with, like, he bad-mouthed Kingston? I can't remember where these troubles have come from. This match is going to continue in picture. Moxley's wife should wrestle. She would get the most views. Well, yeah, people would definitely tune in to see Renee. People would definitely tune in to see Renee competing. Kicks coming in. So 2.0 and Garcia very much in control at the moment. I would call my group Friction Fraction. Friction Fraction. Has Ortiz come dressed as Danhausen? There's definitely a similarity. I don't know that he's channeling Danhausen. I feel like this is face paint they've had before. Cheesebeer said more belts is the answer. Monday Night Raw needs picture-in-picture, says Michael. Daniel say it is Eddie Kingston and Jericho that are feuding. Santana and Ortiz were in LAX with Kingston on Impact. They are at the moment leaning more towards Kingston than Jericho. St. Jack says picture-in-picture is awful. It's blurring the lines. We know Jericho is trying to ride Kingston's rise because that's what he does. And Eddie wants nothing to do with him. Heather says, yes, it was bad-mouthing Kingston. Proud and powerful, saying Chris holding them back. I mind it. I don't mind it. It's a nice little story. It's better than just watching a six-man tag that you're not really like that into. This has got a nice wrinkle to it, so. Because I'm watching it, just waiting to see, like, is it going to fall apart? Is it going to be that they get back onto the same page? It's probably more likely that it falls apart. We've got about an hour and 18 minutes to go. Inner Circle chant by the crowds. We've got some dart results on screen at the moment. Drop toe, takedown, elbow to the back of the head. Aubrey's come in. Okay, so Proud and Powerful, Santana Ortiz are struggling a little at the moment. Drop kick. Big back body drop. Jericho is desperately trying to get that tag. Santana is going over to Jericho. Okay, so the tag is made, and Jericho is again not tagged in. Is Jericho walking away? Has Jericho had enough? Jericho's just jumped off the edge of the ring. Yeah, what is Jericho doing? There's Jericho. So now you can see Jericho on the outside. Jericho will go back to WWE and have one last run, said Jason. Jericho is taking his ball home. Good riddance. Jericho grabbing 2.0 members, dealing with them on the outside of the ring. Judas effect by Jericho. And that should help them get the win. 1, 2, 3, and they do. This Royal Rumble will be the biggest botch of all time. Days, I said to my mom, if I was to quit boxing, would she let me go to wrestling? And she said no. Why would she say that? Don't know. You'll have to ask her. Inner Circle wins. Inner Circle did win. So Jericho's saying that we got the win, but it was because of me. Okay, and now we've got a promo with Lance Archer. Okay, so we're just hearing from Hangman Adam Page right now, as we're building towards him and Lance Archer. He looked good there. When are they facing? I'm sure we'll find out in a sec. So, Hangman and Lance Archer on a collision course, but don't know when yet. It won't be too far, I'm sure. Right, CM Punk is next. CM Punk is next. I like Archer. He reminds me of Diesel. 2 weeks, is it? 2 weeks' time. Love Hangman, but want Archer to win the big one. Bryan would be a better champion than Hangman, but understand why Hangman won. Commercial break. Yeah, commercial break. Need to subscribe first time seeing the channel. Evil Bobby, shout out to you, buds. We do tomorrow. Miro, PD. Right, yes. So CM Punk coming up next. CM Punk promo. This will be quite interesting because MJF obviously is in a feud with CM Punk. I'm sure MJF will come down, and normally when them two go at it, it's normally quite interesting. So I'm totally down for seeing MJF CM Punk altercation right now. Verbal altercation. So, yeah, it should be good. Maldy said, the Royal Rumble is just 3 nights away. Casey Mack said, Orange versus Cole is going to be the main event. Daniel said, Archer is a short feud for Hangman. They have been really drilling into viewers that Adam Cole is the #1 contender, and that looks to be a proper feud after Archer. Yeah, I think it would be a big mistake to have Orange Cassidy win this. We were talking about that earlier. So, keep building up Adam Cole. Make him feel legit, big time. And I think a big statement win here would be... I understand Orange Cassidy's going to get some offense in. I understand you can't just have it one-sided. But I must admit, if it was a one-sided beatdown, I wouldn't mind it too much. I don't want a squash. It doesn't have to be a squash. But if Adam Cole got the early advantage and was able to maintain that and see it home, I'd be all right with that. I'd be all right. You don't... not every match has to have back and forth. So I think that would really do a lot for Adam Cole. And honestly, whatever happens ain't going to hurt Orange Cassidy, is it? The people that like Orange Cassidy are still going to like Orange Cassidy. I don't think people are going to stop loving Orange Cassidy if he loses in a convincing manner here. But I think it would really help Adam Cole. But we'll see. Big main event coming up in about, 40 minutes or so. Right, we're going back. We got CM Punk coming up first. Beach Break. Backstage with Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian Cage, Private Party, Matt Hardy. No one cares about you. No one cares about the ass boys. Just talking about the gun club. Matt Hardy said, these are the best teams come down the pike, I think he said, since me and my brother. Right, CM Punk making his way out. These two could do a proper ladder match. Orange Cassidy would kill Dumb Cole. Matt Hardy feels like a jobber. Jeff Hardy needs to save him. OC is alright. The problem is his gimmick hasn't evolved. Okay, CM Punk gonna wrestle? He's in wrestling gear? I thought CM Punk was just doing a promo. He's in his wrestling tights. He's got his hands wrapped. He's surely going to talk about that. He's surely going to talk about that. Okay, so Cool Personality plays as CM Punk comes out, and as he said, he's in wrestling gear. Got that jacket that CM Punk has got on. It's really soft and comfortable. Still waiting for that big Punk match, says Zoom Station. Right, CM Punk chants. Punk is ready for a fight. Brian feels bigger than CM Punk in AEW. Right. Let's see what he's going to have to say then. I'm sure MJF's going to get involved here. This is, I think, what's going to take us from hour 1 into hour 2. Big CM Punk chants. That's a great sign. Some lovely artwork there. Says, hello, Cleveland. How's everyone doing tonight? Big cheer. It's been a minute since I've been here. CM Punk said, are you sick of hearing me talk yet? The crowd said no. And he said, well, I'm sick of hearing me talk, and that's why I'm dressed to fight. So they're chanting for MJF. Should have chanted Hook. They should have chanted Hook. So he's got MJF scarf on. I'd rather hear him talk. I thought this might be sentimental to him. So he's making out that that was a job lot from Amazon. It said made in Long Island, so I immediately knew it wasn't made of strong material. There's going to be a few hurt CM Punk fans in Long Island right now. Just like, why are you doing that to me? Why are you playing me like that? Let's do it tonight. Okay, he said he'll come out in a cheap suit that doesn't fit him. Okay, he's talking about the people that he's beaten. This match won't happen tonight. You're not fooling anyone. Well, MJF is on his way out, and in all fairness, it felt like he needed to come out. There wasn't really much there. I did quite like when he looked at the scarf and said that he found a price tag. Like, that kind of stuff I thought was pretty fun. But I think MJF's coming out at the right time. Okay, so MJF is on the entrance stage. CM Punk is in the ring. You suck chants. Looks like I joined at the right time, says Minty. Do you want to see us wrestle right here, right now? Cleveland losing their minds. MJF says no. Do you think I would waste one of the biggest matches in the history of this sport in Cleveland, Ohio? So he's laying into the crowd now, calling it a cesspool. A-hole chance. He insulted Wardlow's hometown. It's a good point. I like that. I like that hype, man. Next week, CM Punk versus... Who else can it be? Both members of MJF? So he's laying into Cleveland again. Okay. Sonny is fat like Kia. I thought you was going to say Sonny is like fat Kia. Kia is fat. I wish MJF would be more flairish, a heel that is ready to fight, says Master Chief. Mr. Popo said MJF is probably the best heel of this generation. So it's actually happening, apparently. Next week, apparently. So, crowd are telling him to shut the F up. Wow, they are just talking a lot. She's not fat. No, she is. Kia is. I don't know about Sonny. Kia factually is. She was 51 kg. She's meant to be 39 kg. The vet told us off. She is definitely fat. The CM Punk that blames all of his failures on everyone except himself. This is dragging. So MJF says, you will say next week that you'll leave him wrestling again. He loves us, but didn't you guys say that same thing about LeBron James? I'm loving this, says Minty. Shots fired. So MJF said that CM Punk was meant to be here in 2014, but he no-showed. Do you think he gives a damn about you? The crowd chants CM Punk. We've actually got like a split screen thing. All those chants won't stop him turning on you again, leaving you again, and then crying about it on a podcast. MJF is Mark. MJF is right. MJF needs to talk for 10 minutes to finally start saying something significant. CM Punk. Gone. MJF, you can stop now. Do you know, I do wonder, because I agree, he has to talk a long time to get anywhere. But I do wonder if Tony makes him do that, because this whole segment has been, we've had to get from like 1 hour, well, 53 minutes into the show, we've had to get into the second hour. This is the segment that links the 2 hours. If you end before, people will run the risk of changing the channel and going to the other shows. So you need a big segment that will take you from hour 1 to hour 2. That's what this segment is. So if he didn't talk for so long, it wouldn't link the 2 hours. And I wonder if MJF's doing the work because CM Punk can't. I wonder if Tony's putting the pressure on MJF to do the bulk of the talking. I don't know. It's a long segment. You can tell they're trying to match the first back and forth they had. It's not working. Ronda has been training for a return. It's almost a definite she'll be at Mania, but it's just if she returns at the Rumble, says Harley. You always get back up. How about we test that real quick? Here's FTR and Wardlow. In the ring is Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears takes down CM Punk. CM Punk gets the better of Shawn Spears. FTR are laying into CM Punk. Strikes coming in. Sean Spears, FTR working together. Chair shot to the midsection. CM Punk goes down. Wardlow's not getting involved. So Wardlow's in there, and the crowd want Wardlow to help CM Punk. Wardlow's just turning his head at the moment. So they're definitely giving the crowd something to cheer and think about. Yeah, he's not involved. Wardlow chants. CM Punk trying to grab MJF's scarf. CM Punk goes down. Powerbomb. He tells Wardlow powerbomb. So they're giving Wardlow CM Punk. Chair is down on the ground. Smile on the face of MJF. Wardlow picks up CM Punk. And he does powerbomb him. Wasn't the most vicious powerbomb. MJF is sitting cross-legged on the chest of CM Punk. There we go. Sitting on the chest, MJF is better than us. Ain't better than me. Punk should not be taking those shots with the chair. The dude is too old for some of this. Jason said, why is this on Dynamite? FTR fears dem boys, says Heather. Great promo and attack, said to heel. Alexa is going to break out of the insane asylum. Horrible MJF promo. It was stupid and bad, said Mr. Jack. I like the sitting spot. Didn't look very comfortable. Got the Acclaimed. Okay, so Moxley against Anthony Bowens. That's at Rampage. Beach Break Championship Friday, it's called. Coming up tonight, we're going to hear from Britt Baker. Just got a shot here of Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy. Face-to-face on a beach. Topping up the tans. Coming up next, got Red Velvet taking on legit Leyla Hirsch. Do you think MJF will be the only wrestler to never work as a face? I think he has worked as a face, hasn't he? Wasn't he like a face when he was with Cody? Because he was like Cody's protege. And I think he was operating as a face then. When he first came in, he was like Cody's right-hand man. So, I don't know. I mean, he's just such a natural heel. I can't really see him going over to being... Sometimes, though, it's really cool, though, when you get, like, a heel. And, you know, we need... Like, look at Lex Luger. Lex Luger came in as a heel into WWE. And it was like, all these faces tried to slam Yokozuna and they failed on the USS Intrepid. And then the helicopter lands. And it's like, who is it? Is it Hogan? Who is it? Who's gonna try and slam Yokozuna now? Who's gonna restore the pride of America? And accept the heel, Lex Luger, who was wearing like stars and stripes, and he came out, he's shaking people's hands, and it quite clearly turned face. But sometimes that can be some of the coolest moments when like a heel is your last resort. That the heel is the only person left that can do the right thing, and then they do it. And they do the right thing, and they turn, and it's amazing. I wonder if we'd ever get to the point where all the faces have failed, and MJF is the only person that could do something, and he comes out, the crowd go crazy as MJF, like, acknowledges the crowd and does the right thing. I mean, that would be such a great moment. So, I don't know. He's a natural heel. He's a natural heel. But I do love those moments. I do love those moments when a heel turns face. And certainly someone you didn't really expect to do it. But that won't be for a long, long time ago. Luger was not a heel. He was. You might want to go back and rewatch 1993. He came in as the narcissist Lex Luger. He was a heel. He used to pose in front of a mirror, and he came in as a heel. He used to wear was it like silver on his white and silver, and then once he turned face, he had the stars and stripes on his ring gear. So I don't know what to tell you. I didn't know Raw was on. I don't see MJF's character work as a face. I don't see MJF's character work as a face. No, it's one that you can't quite picture, but whenever it does happen and go that way, it's kind of cool. All of a sudden, it's like the bully is on your side. Right, we've got Julia. She's being moody now. Julia Hart said, "You don't need to fight my battles." Right, here's legit Leyla Hirsch. So, legit Leyla Hirsch making her way down to take on Red Velvet. It's going to be a boring women's match, says Jason. Can you see Ronda in the Rumble? Can I see Ronda in the Rumble? Sure. Wasn't Bobby Heenan Lex Luger's manager when he was the narcissist? I can't remember if he was his manager all throughout that run, but he definitely was there at the start because at the 93 Royal Rumble, he unveiled him basically. And I remember the segment where Lex Luger's like posing in the mirrors, showing off. Like, all he was doing was, like, just posing and showing off in front of a mirror. And you had Bobby Heenan going, "Oh, just give me one more look at the glutes. Just show me one more time, Lex. All these people will never understand what it's like to be you." And he's just showing off, like, all his different muscles and everything. But I can't remember. I think he probably was by his side, but I remember Bobby being on, like, commentary at WrestleMania 9. And Lex Luger was in the ring. I think he took on Mr. Perfect. So I don't know. I don't know if Bobby was like managing him, but he was definitely an advocate. We could put it that way. He was definitely involved at times. Knee to the face by Red Velvet. If you made a prediction for 2 women most likely to join AEW, who would it be between Toni Storm, Tegan Nox, Taya Valkyrie, or Ember Moon? Wow, Toni Storm didn't like the schedule, did she? I don't know if Toni Storm is adapting to life in America very well. I don't know if Toni Storm's coping very well in the US. So, Tegan Nox is a bit of an injury concern as well. Taya Valkyrie, she might be someone that AEW might be interested in. Ember Moon, I would say it between Taya Valkyrie. I think's gone to Impact. I think she's gone to Impact. So out of all of them, I would say Tegan Nox a bit of an injury concern. Toni Storm just walking away is a red flag for any other company. So I'll say Ember Moon, because I think Taya Valkyrie is at Impact. Rest of Danny said Lex needs to be in the Hall of Fame. He really does. I'm surprised he's not already, but there's obviously all that stuff with him and Elizabeth, isn't there? So I don't know if that's a bit of a barrier, but I know he was working like behind the scenes, backstage at WWE. I think he was doing stuff with the wellness policy. I don't think he was there for that long doing that backstage role, but I think he's kind of back in good terms, good enough where he was being employed by them for a bit. And they were going to do that Icons documentary, weren't they, as well, actually? Leyla showing off the guns. Red Velvet getting chucked into the corner. Taya's not signed, but I hope she does go back to Impact. I thought she'd gone back. Toni would only work once a week if she was placed on Rampage. It gets taped after Dynamite on a Wednesday. It would be a 1 day a week, just like NXT. I don't know that that's true, to be honest, because I'm sure they do house shows and things. I mean, she's going to have to tour around America and go all around America. And we don't quite know why she got burnt out. So they do more than just the shows that we see. And obviously, as you know, the world opens up, I'd imagine they're going to do even more and more and more. So I'm sure the schedule is a bit friendlier maybe than it was in WWE. But it's still going to be a lot more than just 1 day a week. So, I don't know. Without knowing what... She burnt out, I think it was. I think it was like the touring they were doing over Christmas got to her. But, I mean, without sitting down and looking at all the schedules and whatever, I mean, you've kind of got to accept that part of it if you're a wrestler. I mean, that is part of it. The road, they say the road is like one of the hardest parts, and she just really seemed to struggle with that. So, don't know. Could be there was other things going on behind the scenes. Well, don't know. If she had a meeting with Toni and she was like, no, look, the girls were ganging up on me. I never felt like I was accepted. I really didn't enjoy my time. And then on top of that, the Christmas touring schedule. I was doing like 12 matches in 6 days, and my body was aching, and I was struggling. But, you know, your schedule is, I don't know, 4 times a week or whatever, 5 times a week, whatever it's going to be. It's a lot more manageable. I already know a load of people here. I'd be absolutely fine. Like, if she was to have that conversation or something, maybe Toni would be like, we'll take you on a short contract. I just think it's gamble. If, you know, it's a red flag. If I've got a wrestling company and a wrestler has walked out from another company straight away, you go, you know what I mean? You'd approach with caution. Days No More Food Poisoning. Amazing. Eric, welcome. Welcome back. Dave Sentia said, who was the best manager? Is it Bobby, Jim Cornette, or Paul Heyman? Bobby for me. Bobby for me. I think he's... They can all talk, and they're all great talkers, and that's obviously the big thing that they've got. But even Jim Cornette says that Bobby Heenan's the best to have done it. So I think even Jim would be quite happy to say, no, I never quite got to Bobby's level. So quick-witted, Bobby. That really came across when he did commentary. But it's funny, actually, because I was listening to a Jim Cornette clip earlier, and he was saying that Bobby was, like, so good at wrestling. He was better than a lot of the people that he actually managed, like, back in the day. Once he got into his 40s, obviously, he started to decline. But when he was in his 30s, he was actually better than a load of the people he was managing. Like, in ring, he was really good. I don't think I've ever really seen, but I've seen, like, Bobby Heenan matches when he's, like, a heel manager, a weasel. But I don't think I've ever actually seen him, like, properly wrestle. In, like, a proper wrestling match where he stands a chance of winning. Could be quite interesting. I don't think I've ever looked for it either, in all fairness. Bobby Heenan, I feel like they did do it, but a Bobby Heenan DVD. I can see the front cover now. I think it's like blue, and he's kind of like standing to the side with a smile on his face, in like a jacket. And I seem to remember that. But it would be cool if they did like a collection of Bobby Heenan stuff and got some like lost matches and whatever. Now that they're not doing WWE DVDs, it'd be good if all of them got put onto the network. Imagine if you could just watch all those documentaries now that did get released on DVD. I'm sure they will go on eventually. Leyla Hirsch gets the win. This match is fairly decent. Flair said Bobby was one of the best he worked with. He was like a Bret Hart level wrestler, says Master Chief. What do sprinters eat before a race? Nothing. They fast. Okay, so Statlander chasing Leyla Hirsch up the entrance ramp. Did she stick her finger up at her then? What is Statlander wearing? That's not very Statlander attire, is it? Here's Malachi. What name's he going by? You will be humbled. Pray for salvation. Is he Brody King? Okay. Probably is. They probably announced him last week. I just wondered if they were going to give him like a new name. But that's a very WWE thing to do, isn't it? Thought he might be known as Gunter too. Gunter the Revenge. Right, Sammy's coming out with his cards. He's got both the TNT belts on. He's come out with Fuego. House of Black is very good. Imagine Leyla Hirsch against Ivy Nile. That'd be good. I appreciate Malachi's creativity when it comes to that story. Days, you're wrong. They're still doing WWEs here in the UK, but not in the USA. Is that true? So they're still carrying on with DVDs in this country, but they're just not doing them in America. Well, either way, they've stopped doing them. I mean, I'm not wrong, am I? Because they have stopped doing them, but they've just stopped doing them in America, which is their biggest market anyway. I didn't politic. I didn't brown nose. Instead, I did the work. So we're just hearing from Sammy. We've got 34 minutes to go. Someone in booking thinks this card thing is clever. WWEs are cheap at HMV currently. They are £3 each. Bargain. The ones that are like the shows, I've always hated them. The ones that are just like, you know, Backlash, TLC, all those kind of ones. I love the documentary ones. I love, like, you know, Macho Man's story and Roddy Piper's story and The Rock's story. You know, all those that really focus on a wrestler. Or they've done ones that are like the greatest steel cage matches or the history, the best moments of WrestleMania or those kind of collection ones. I love all those. Love all of those. This TNT championship is not just mine. It's ours. When did the WWE announce they weren't going to do DVDs? Is it because they'll figure they'll make more money through streaming services? It was announced about, I don't know, about a month ago, 2 months ago, somewhere around that. Probably, yeah, I mean, it was before Christmas. So, it's a few months back. And to be honest, I think the way that it works is... it's a bit tricky because it might be done in-house, but there are companies that... So the way that it works is that if you say you want to make a board game for WWE, you would arrange a meeting with WWE and you would go up to them and you would say, I want to make a board game. How much about WWE? How much will that cost me? They'll say, okay, $20,000 and we want 10% of all the profits. So you sign that contract. So you make your board game, you pay them the $20,000 and they get 10% of the profits. But that's how it works. So loads of things like spreads, the magazine, for example, the kids magazine. This is how I know how it works because kids magazine is done that way. Kids magazine is not done by WWE. It's done by a third party. And I think for a time the DVDs were as well. I don't know if they still are though. So I can't tell you if a company that has been doing them has decided it's not profitable now, or if it's WWE themselves that have decided that it's not profitable now or it's not worth doing anymore. Either way, message came out, I'm sure it's just before Christmas. I couldn't put an exact date on it. That they're not going to bother doing them anymore. And yeah, it is. It's going to be the network, innit? Network's definitely going to have changed it all. Britt Baker in the ring. Look at the year that I've had. I told you that this would be the era of the DMD. I've been watching Wyndham promos on YouTube channel. Last one, he had the Titan in it. Does that mean anything? Wyndham going to Impact? What do you mean, Homer? The Wyndham promos on the YouTube channel. Britt said, I've done all of this with a broken wrist. Larry said, DVDs are dying. Streaming is taking over. Anyone could have made this division theirs. It was wide open. Crowd are talking all over her, man. What are they chanting? I can't hear what they're chanting, but they're chanting something all over the top of her promo. Britt ain't wrong about the women's division. They're doing a chant for their home football team. I've got the 3 DVD set of the best WWE ladder matches. It's really good. They always do this laying into the local kind of sports team thing. Just to get like a reaction. Britt and Liv are my 2 favourites. What did one wall say to the other wall? I'll meet you at the corner. We need Thunder or someone to shut Britt up, says Heather. Roderick said, I'm just asking. Just asking what, bud? I didn't see the question. You finally have got a baker that you can count on. There we go. Dr. Britt Baker DMD. Okay. This is more than a reaction. She legit big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and Cleveland Browns are their rivals. I've got an important question to ask. What do you think about Bianca versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania? I wouldn't do it for this WrestleMania. The reason why I say that is, well, I don't know what Ronda will return as, but it feels like Bianca's got unfinished business with Becky, to be honest. Ronda is she going to come back? I mean, is she going to come back as a face? Is she going to come back as a heel? If she comes back as a heel, then, okay, you could do Bianca versus Ronda. But there's not much of a reason to have them face off at WrestleMania. I mean, if they're bringing Ronda back, she's surely winning at WrestleMania. So that means that Bianca would have to lose, and that would really upset people. But that would be all right if she came back as a heel. If she came back as a heel and you wanted to upset people, putting her over Bianca would achieve that. But I think they might want to bring Ronda back as a face, which is going to be hard to do. Jade Cargill takes on Julia Hart for the TBS Championship. I don't know if I've ever seen Julia Hart wrestle. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus taking on Private Party. a heel in AEW, your sports team sucks, blah, blah, blah. Your star player sucks. I'm better than you all. This town sucks. Leave the ring. Britt Baker was wearing Jordan 1s. I didn't know anything about NFL. So when they lay into the crowd about NFL, I find it as a way to draw heat. Yes. I am in love with Silver. He is cool. Silver's cool. Right, main events. Orange Cassidy versus Adam Cole. Baby. Days never watched Julia wrestle. I don't think so. She might have been on before. Don't remember. Gargano coming out at the end would save this show. Johnny Wrestling will show up next. I miss you, Days. I don't know, dude. I really don't know. I know he's from Cleveland, and it would be a moment. It would be a pop, but I don't know. Adam Cole being in the main event, it's a ready-made story. It would mean that Adam Cole would surely move on to a feud with Johnny now, but he's got his wife's about to give birth. So you can't really start anything because Johnny's going to go away for a bit. I was expecting a female debut with that Britt segment. It did come off as if she was about to be interrupted. Interesting. Go to YouTube. Type in Wyndham promo. He's been doing them for a month and a half now. Is that It Begins Again? I got told about this a while ago. That It Begins Again, if it is that channel, is definitely not Wyndham. Do you see his face? That's what I'm going to say. Oh, yeah. It Begins Again. This is crazy, man. That is crazy. I haven't watched any of these. I've just been told about them. And, oh, man, that is crazy, isn't it? Look, how many has he done? He's done quite a few. They're all fake, but they're not Wyndham. I don't know if people are watching them thinking that it is, or if people are just enjoying them. I don't know. I mean, I ain't seen them. I ain't got nothing against them. But It Begins Again is a channel that was used to do like Botchamania videos. I think as well also might have had a connection with... Do you remember when there was that Anonymous? Do you remember when... They've done this before. Do you remember when there was the hacker storyline? There was like a hacker that appeared, and I got told that they were behind that as well. There was a hacker that like appeared on Thingy, on the internet, that was doing like anonymous type videos. They were behind that as well, apparently. So now they're behind these Wyndham promos, and people are believing that it's Wyndham. Wild. Their fan made AEW fans gullible. So many people are getting scrunched into it, fooled that it's him when countless people that work with him say it's not. He did a live stream. Yeah, crazy. It's a guy that makes promos, hide things in them. He thinks Wyndham wants to say but can't. Jesus. This Cleveland quarterback is Baker Mayfield. That's why Britt said, I'm a Baker you can count on, said Jessen. Right, time for the main event. I'm an AEW fan. I knew they were fake from the jump. Do you think MJF beats Punk in his hometown with all the heat he would get off that, and then tries to... Do I think MJF would beat Punk in his hometown? Don't know what they're going to do. Trying to predict what AEW are going to do is quite tricky. I mean, I think they've built him up as like a big heel. It would feel like he's due his comeuppance. So you'd probably say that it's more likely that CM Punk's going to get the win, and certainly after the beatdown this week as well. I reckon CM Punk gets the win, maybe thanks to Wardlow. Perhaps that's where Wardlow turns. So CM Punk gets the win. It's not quite clean. MJF can then go off in a feud with Wardlow. CM Punk gets the win. Chicago's happy. MJF can always claim he would have won if it wasn't for Wardlow. So I think it'll be something like that. Right, here we go then. There is a Johnny Gargano sign that's just popped up in the crowds. The winking face. I predict Johnny will show up. It's definitely not Wyndham, but what if it is Bo Dallas? No. I mean, that channel's been going for years. It begins again. It's been going for years. It's a YouTube guy. In fact, he's even shown himself on videos in the past. So I know what the person behind the channel looks like, because he's done streams where he's actually like sat down, and he's done videos where he spoke about how he keeps getting hit with copyright strikes in his like Botchamania type videos. So I know who I can't tell you his name, but I know what he looks like, because I remember like when it was years ago now, but I watched a few of them because I was watching Botchamania, and whenever you watch Botchamania, that It Begins Again channel was doing videos similar, and so they'd get recommended, and I watched a few, and they were kind of like Botchamania but not as good. And I remember I got recommended a video where he is sitting talking about, you know, the fact that he's getting hit with copyright strikes, and how he doesn't know if he's going to be able to continue to do those types of videos and everything. And that, honestly, that was the last I saw of him. Outside of that, I remember that he started to do... I heard that... The next thing I heard was that he was the person that was behind the hacker videos. And then someone mentioned his channel not that long ago and said that he was now doing these Wyndham videos. And I was like, makes sense. But I've never watched them. That's the first time I've actually searched for them. Surprised how many people are believing that it's a member of the Wyndham family. Yeah, Watchmania's fun, man. His live stream made me laugh. I hate when people say things are fan-made. Someone asked, has he met Wyndham? Never met Wyndham. No. Absolute idiot, says Moldy. Danhausen's here. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Where's he come from? That was a big reaction for Danhausen. I thought he had broken his leg. Big cheer for Danhausen. The crowd going crazy for Danhausen. I don't think that was done very well. I mean, he's just kind of there and he's scuttled away. What was that? So is he in? Is he in? I'm guessing he must be, or is that just like a one-off little appearance pop thing? Danhausen hijacked the show. What was the point of that? I don't know. I find that really weird. I mean, Danhausen coming in is going to be really exciting for a lot of people. I've never really seen him, to be honest, but I'm aware of his promos, and I'm aware of him, and that's really weird. Like, you get this moment, everyone goes, oh my god, it's Danhausen, and then he leaves, and then you have to go back to watching this match. Doesn't he, like, wouldn't it make more sense if he, like, made the save at the end or something? How weird. Cole grabbed the chair and Danhausen was holding on to it. Sometimes AEW surprises without having a plan. It was a swerve. Danhausen is signed but injured. Makes sense with the focus being on Gargano, says Jeremy. You will not like Danhausen. Oh, brilliant. Great. No, I don't mind his promos. I don't mind his... I've seen him do, like, toy hunts and things, so... Orange Cassidy is down. Danhausen against Sting. Take my money, said Jason. Master Chief said he's not medically cleared. He had the final scar tissue bust in his leg. He will be good to go soon. That was a very Danhausen thing to do. How did he get under the ring? The security is awful. Who is Danhausen? I can't remember where he wrestled. Was it in Ring of Honor? But I know he's been on the indie scene, and he's someone that's he's one of those kind of indie stars that's really caught fire, and he's quite big on social media. He's got I think a YouTube channel, and he's got some momentum to him. He's certainly someone that's managed to get onto my radar, and I don't watch indie wrestling, so I'm aware of him. And what happened to Warhorse? I don't even know where Warhorse went. But... yeah, I mean, that's a big one. Danhausen is someone that you knew would get a really good reaction if he was in AEW. Picture in Picture on TBS says Hayden. Master Chief said, I was told I would hate Danhausen, but I love him. Danhausen against Adam Cole, baby. Danhausen is very nice and very evil. Ledge Killer, shout out to you. 12 minutes to go. Okay, so Adam Cole with a trash can. Puts it over Orange Cassidy's head. Kick to the side of the head. Adam Cole with a big smile on his face. He's wrapping the chain around his arms. Warhorse is doing some dates for MLW. Danhausen show up in AEW. Yeah, he just popped out from under the ring and walked away. They gave him the Fuego del Sol appearance, where he pops in from under the ring. Orange Cassidy goes out the ring. I guess they're going to start doing some ridiculous Danhausen gimmicks on AEW. Did Johnny show up in Dynamite? No. Fire extinguisher used by... Again, Tony saying, I love it. That is tremendous. Bit of blood, I think, on the hand of... Orange Cassidy. Danhausen Weekly has been retweeting the adverts for Dynamite, saying stay tuned. And people realised he was signed due to that, says Daniel. William said we should all pick one indie wrestler from a hat and we just consistently talk about them everywhere. Danhausen fears Dominic. Heather said, come on, Cole, this is the weakest unsanctioned match ever. I think they're just at commercial break at the moment. I don't know if there's an overrun here. I feel like Gargano will appear at the end of Dynamite tonight, said MSF Sports YT. Cole looking to Stun Dog Millionaire, looking for a suplex on Orange Cassidy. Oof. Orange Cassidy planting Adam Cole through 2 chairs. I don't remember seeing that or that being a thing. Certainly not back in the 90s. It was quite rare that you had chairs. And if you did, there was headshots, which you don't even see that now. But this, where they plant them through and actually bend the seat of the chair. It's moody, man. It's moody. Super kick by Adam Cole. I really think Gargano would be another good get for AEW, said Lee. Mm-hmm. Are you a fan of stew? If so, what type is your favourite? What do you mean? The meal. Right. Is that... Wheeler Yuta comes out and lays out Brandon Cutler. Here's Bobby Fish. Here's Chuck. Fish goes into the railing. Young Bucks have come down. Johnny Wrestling, maybe. Well, people are thinking that he is going to come down tonight. Okay, so is that Rocky Romero that's come down? Kick out by Adam Cole. The Young Bucks taking Cole's momentum. Lee said, I thought you didn't like gimmick matches. It's not that I don't like gimmick matches. I mean, as long as they're done well, to be honest. I haven't got really a problem with gimmick matches. I don't like death matches. But I'm sure if a death match was done well, there's probably death matches out there that I would enjoy. It's just, if you take the genre as a whole of death matches, then there's probably more that I wouldn't enjoy than enjoy. It's kind of like saying, do you like country music? No, I don't like country music. But is there going to be a Johnny Cash album that you would enjoy? Yeah, that doesn't really mean that you like country music as a whole. So, with this one, it's alright. It's not really grabbing me, but I'm not really offended by this. But I said earlier, actually, I really like ladder matches when it's just one-on-one. So, no, I wouldn't want to say that I didn't like gimmick matches. One of the first matches I saw was Big Boss Man against Nails in a nightstick match. That was, as a kid, I mean, I love that. Probably go back and watch it now and I'd probably cringe. But the idea of, like, the police officer against the prisoner, first one to get the nightstick could use it. Love that as a kid. There's no more chairs to the head because wrestlers might get CTE. Mm-hmm. Death matches are trash from what I've seen, says JT Jose. Well, each to their own. There's people that really enjoy them, and it's a different form of wrestling. You know, like the ECW crowds. But sometimes they can just use barbed wire and blood in replace of any kind of drama. Rather than actually telling a decent story, they can just, you know, it can just be, how can we cut this person up as much as possible? But as I said, you know, sometimes you can get some decent ones. We've gone to the backstage area. We did just see Tony as Orange Cassidy is driven through a table. Why does the ref have a black glove on? Because when there's blood, it's protocol that they'll put gloves on. So a little bit of blood here. It's not. I don't think it's not meant to be there, but I think it's just on his hand. It's not too bad, but it could get worse. And I think for whatever reason, it's like protocol that referees put gloves on. How many kids does Sting have in AEW? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Goes down to his knees. A Tony Khan sighting. Yes. Super kick by Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy charging over and light to the head by Adam Cole. Smashes Orange Cassidy in the head. Orange Cassidy goes down. He's being dragged over to the side of the stage. Tony Khan to AEW confirmed. Big Boss Man would twirl that nightstick like Bruce Lee would. He was good with them, wasn't he? He was really good. You're going to serve hard time. It was really good. Adam Cole climbing up on top of the entrance stage. He's going for a Panama Sunrise from up there. Oh, Orange Cassidy's gone. He's clearly behind you. I can't believe he isn't hearing him behind him. Low blow by Orange Cassidy. AEW, home of the super kick. Robert said, I like rock and country and some old school rap. Very nice. The suplex Bossman took from Hogan was nasty. Orange Cassidy hugging Adam Cole. I'm sure he can get out of that. Okay, they go off the top of the tunnel and they go through the entrance staging. Cassidy pins Adam Cole. I hope Cassidy wins. Cole's NXT title shot next title shot at Hangman after Archer. It's Beach Break. We saw a lot of broken bones. Just showing some replays as Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole are still down. Randy said it doesn't count because it's a lights out match, so they say. Are you a fan of stew? I don't know what you mean, dude. Do you mean the food? If you mean the food, stew, then it's alright. It's not my favourite. Adam Cole should have won that. Why would they have him lose? I don't know. I've been looking forward to Beach Break when Adam Cole and announced, and it didn't disappoint. 8 out of 10, says Ben. I knew he possibly lose because the matches don't affect win-loss record, so he'll stay undefeated on the graphics. A loss counts whether it does or doesn't. Adam Cole lost tonight, which is a problem. And there we go. End of the show. Right, let's get a what do you score AEW Dynamite? What you score Dynamite? 8 to 10. 7 to 7 5. 6 to 6 7 5. Oh jeez. 5 7 5 or below. There we go. That was not lights out. I hope that feud is over now. People, just let the story play out. It's wrestling fans. We are fickle, said to heel. Damien gives it a 7. Alex gives it a 4. Weak main event, and I don't get why Orange Cassidy beat Adam Cole. Not many people noticing how disastrous that fall could have been for Cole. They did Roman and Cena move. This is why AEW sucks. Danhausen will be top of the news tomorrow. 575, worst show of the year so far. Do you think we'll get Punk MJF or a swerve? No, I think we'll get it. But I think that's when Wardlow snaps. Because I think that I can't see CM Punk winning clean. I think there's going to be a lot of interference. Sean Spears getting involved, blah, 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 blah. But I think the end result will be that we will see, I think, Wardlow turn. I mean, they've been teasing it and teasing it and teasing it. And I think they'll tease it during next week as well. And it'll get to the point where Wardlow comes down and, like, maybe MJF needs some help during the match. Maybe the referee's down. Maybe Wardlow hits MJF during the match. Dusty finish. You know, where one ref's down and a second ref comes down and has to take his place. Maybe it was something like that. Because I'm thinking they're going to... I don't see why you're going to keep doing this MJF CM Punk feud forever. I think they'll face each other next week, and I think CM Punk wins, but thanks to Wardlow. I can see that. I could be completely wrong, but I think that's how I would book it. Days, I turn my notifications for the channel off. Very cool. Don't blame you. 5.5, 6756. I want to make a planet that has creatures that eats farts for foods. It's good to dream. Do you think SmackDown will be excellent before Royal Rumble? Nope. Go home shows don't tend to be honest. So, yeah, I think this, it's exciting, the Royal Rumble. I'm massively excited. It's not really about SmackDown because SmackDown, it's just kind of reminding people what the matches are going to be. It's a go-home show. It's going to be kind of what we saw on Raw, I think. And actually, SmackDown has been struggling in recent weeks. It's been getting some of our lowest scores, so... Are you going to pre-order 2K? Nah. MJF probably should beat Punk, don't you think? Not if Wardlow costs him. If Wardlow costs him, and then that means we can go off into an MJF Wardlow thing. That way MJF can say he would have beaten CM Punk if it wasn't for Wardlow, and now he's going to have to deal with the Wardlow problem, and then boom, we can be off into that. So, it's not a clean win, if you will. You can still say to CM Punk, you never beat me clean. You had to cheat. You had to get Wardlow to do your dirty work for you, and CM Punk can be like, I never got Wardlow to do anything. He chose to do that because you're a douche. So it could be something like that. So I don't mind that. I do think that Adam Cole should have won tonight, though. I don't think Wardlow turns just yet. I think they're going to wait for him to win the TNT title, and MJF will put out the contract situation where he claims to be TNT champion. Days, I said YouTube turned my notification off for the channel. Oh. Coaster Maniacs, hello. How's it going? What did I miss? Not much, to be honest. I think this is one of my least favourite Dynamites I can remember in a while. It never got going for me tonight, to be honest. Never got going. I think part of it would be how you took the ladder match. I think if you really liked the ladder match, then maybe you were up and running and you was into it and all of that. But for me, I was getting into the ladder match and then it went too far. And it was just spot after spot after spot. And I couldn't get into it. And then the bits that followed, I mean, like the MJF promo just seemed to go on, and it just went too long. Red Velvet, Leyla, Hirsch, it was fine. It was fine, but it's hard to get excited about that. But it was fine. That was actually one of the bits that I thought was all right. Santana, Ortiz, Jericho against 2.0, Daniel Garcia. I mean, I was just looking to see what was going to happen between the Inner Circle, and they didn't tag him in, and he hits the Judas effect, whatever. But honestly, I mean, really, I'm just scrambling around trying to find little things that I enjoyed. There wasn't, like that main event match. I mean, it was all right. Danhausen, I just think that's weird booking. Great that he's in. I ain't got a problem with him being in AEW. I just don't really get why they did it there. I don't really get why you have this massive moment. Perhaps it feels in a way like they're underselling Danhausen, you know? Like, I think Danhausen's a big deal, but maybe Tony Khan doesn't. Because I think it's a big deal because, like, they were chanting his name and the crowd knew who he was. And everyone here knew who he was. Or I would say a good chunk of people here knew who he was. But to put it like, why would you do that in the middle of a match and then he's gone and then everyone's got to settle back down and watch the match? It's really weird, and it's really unfair on Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy because you got this great big moment where someone's involved and then they scuttle off and everyone's like, oh my God, it's Danhausen. Danhausen was here. You know, all this. And everyone's like, oh, was it Danhausen? Is it true about Danhausen? And like, poor Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole are having to try and wrestle the rest of this match. And I feel a bit sorry for them, actually, that they had to try and carry on and keep competing and whatever after that. This is why, like, it's normally good to bring someone out like that out at the end. Like, I get that he's not been in WWE, and I get that he's not been... I don't think he's been in Impact. And he's not... I don't think he's been in AEW before. But I still feel like he's a... I don't know. Perhaps it's because... I don't know. Perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps he's not that big a deal. Perhaps in Tony Khan's eyes, he's like, okay, the casuals won't know who he is, so we're going to have to introduce him. So what we'll do is we'll just put him in the middle of the match. The fans will go crazy because they'll know who he is. That'll tell the people at home that this is a big deal. But by and large, you know, a lot of people watching won't know who it is. So we'll introduce him that way. I don't know. For me, like, if they'd have done something where Danhausen came out after, like, that would have been really cool. I kind of feel like you save him for the end, like you would with an Adam Cole or a Daniel Bryan or whatever. But I suppose it must come down to the fact they just don't think is as big because he hasn't been in WWE, which I get, I understand. But it's just like, for me, I think that's a big deal. I think Danhausen's a big deal. I think Danhausen is going to get over big, really big. He's going to get over really big. He's already over really big, but I think even with the casuals, he'll get over really big. And his promos and his personality and everything, these mannerisms, I think he's got more to him than Orange Cassidy has got. Orange Cassidy got over really big, but then just went maybe a little stale, as we said. But I think with Danhausen, he can promo. I mean, you don't tend to hear much from Orange Cassidy, and that's a big, big thing. If you can cut a good promo, and Danhausen can definitely do that. It's very entertaining. So Danhausen is in AEW now. Weird way to go about it. As I said, I suppose you can see why they did it that way. And they also wanted to sell that final spot. You know, it'd be hard to bring Danhausen out at the end because, I mean, it ends with, like, best friends hugging Orange Cassidy. But I suppose you could have still done it. You could have still done it whereby they did that spot. Orange Cassidy gets up and best friends come out and give him a hug. Danhausen's music comes on and he comes out and gives Orange Cassidy a hug as well. And maybe you could have done it that way. Dunno. Interesting. I know it won't happen, but what if Moxley returns at the Rumble and attacks Rollins and Roman and he wins the Rumble? I mean, it just won't happen, will it? It won't happen. Why is Danhausen more of a bigger deal than someone else in Ring of Honor like Briscoes or Brody King? Because I've not heard of Brody King. So Brody King, well, I've heard of him, but there's no real buzz around him. Briscoes are a team that, again, I'm a little bit familiar with, mainly because I've seen them competing in the NWA. They're a team. So for me, I don't watch Ring of Honor. So if any indie, and a classic Ring of Honor is indie, King of the Indies, really. If any indie talent gets onto my radar, they're a big deal, right? Because I don't watch indie wrestling. I don't have time. I watch WWE, I watch AEW. So if any indie talent gets onto my radar, there must be a buzz about them. I have heard so much about Danhausen. I've been recommended his YouTube videos. Even Jim Cornette has played his cameo videos on his podcast. I think, didn't he get into a game? I can't remember if he got into that retro wrestling game or whatever. I think he certainly tried. But, I mean, he's got a big Twitter following. I see his tweets. He is just really... He's done so well with his social media side. The way that he has got himself over, not through really his matches, but more his personality. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how much more he has got over than Brody King or the Briscoes to the average person, because those guys, I think, are over, and I think those guys are cool, but they're not out there. They're not as big as what Danhausen is, because he has really used social media. As I said, I mean, I got recommended one of his toy hunts. I actually sat and watched one of his toy hunts, and it was great. It's fun. He's a funny guy. And he goes into this shop and he walks around, and I was watching him just looking at all the different things in this comic shop. And, I mean, I've never done that with the Briscoes. I've never done that with Brody King. I don't even know if they've got YouTube channels. I haven't got a clue. I don't see any buzz about them whatsoever. But, I mean, the Briscoes, I'm sure, I've seen them have matches. I know they're a great tag team. They would be a great addition. And I'm sure the fans would be excited, but I just think that Danhausen has got I think Danhausen can connect with the audience more. Equally, I must add the stipulation, I've never watched him in Ring of Honor. So I'm sure people are going to be like, nah, he does supernatural stuff. You would hate him. And if that is true and he does all of that, then I'm sure I will hate him. But his promos and his promo style and his mannerisms and his personality and what I have seen, I do like. Even Jim Cornette liked him. I remember Jim Cornette listening to his cameo, Danhausen's cameo, and Danhausen was like, why do I do wrestling? I do wrestling because I want a gold house, and I want a gold car, and I want everything gold. And Jim Cornette was laughing and saying, how refreshing to hear someone saying they're not doing it because they want to be the best. He wants his gold house and he wants his gold car, and even his personality was winning Jim Cornette over a little bit. I'm sure Jim Cornette will watch him and hate him as well. But I'm not a fan of the supernatural stuff, so if he's getting to that, I'm sure I'll hate him. So don't throw this back in my face going, oh, you said Danhausen was going to be amazing and now you hate him. Because what I'm saying is, I like his personality. I've never seen him wrestle, and I don't know what he's going to actually bring to AEW, so I could end up hating him. But I'm quite happy to give him the benefit of the doubt, because I do find him entertaining as well. I do find him very entertaining, so I am excited that Danhausen is in AEW, I must admit. The platform is there now. The floor is yours, Danhausen. The floor is yours. Do you know what I mean? Do what you do. And if I enjoy it, I'll enjoy it. If I don't, then I don't. But I know there's many people that have watched him in Ring of Honor and really enjoy what he does. So he'll certainly not be struggling for fans. Certainly won't be struggling for fans. So I wish him all the best. Danhausen was on Conan's podcast and it was a great listen, says Esteban. Why do the AEW special events all look like regular Dynamite, but they're labeled as something? Well, they had a couple of surfboards on the stage, but they probably could have done a little bit more, couldn't they? I feel like they used to, actually. I feel like they did used to do a little bit more with these kind of specials, but maybe now they're back on the road. They don't really have the furnishings or whatever. I'm not sure. Do you remember didn't they have women? I seem to remember women standing on stage in bikinis for was it Beach Bash at the Beach or whatever it might have been? But was it that? I think it was. I think Bash at the Beach, or was that Fyter Fest? I can't remember now. I just remember women in bikinis standing on stage. And I feel, but that could have been a pay-per-view. I don't know. I might be getting them mixed up. But, yeah, I don't disagree. I think they stacked the cards. I think, there were some big matches this week. But, yeah, it'd be nice if they went a little further with the decorating. But it's not a massive problem. It's not a massive problem. They've still managed to get out a nice graphic and put on some good matches and whatever. But, yeah, I don't disagree. It'd be nice if they had, the ring aprons and the turnbuckles or Beach Bash. I mean, if this is something you're going to do every year, if you're going to do Beach Bash this time every year, it might as well invest in some ring aprons and special turnbuckle pads and whatever, that you just use once a year for Beach Bash. That'd be really cool, and it would just give it a little point of difference, so I don't disagree. Do you remember WCW when they had a wrestling ring set up surrounded by water? That was cool. I don't know why it was Beach Break. They were nowhere near a beach. And it's January as well. Which is a bit weird. Because this is Beach Break to me is do you know what I mean? Summer holiday kind of a thing. Maybe, what is it called? Where they all go to Cancun. All the students go mid-break. What's it called? I can't remember. Spring break. If it was like that, then I'd be like, okay, it makes sense. Spring break, innit, guys? Come on. But I don't think it's spring break right now. I think that's in March. The Babies in Bikinis wasn't a pay-per-view, but why call it Beach Break if you don't have anything to do with a beach theme? I can't answer it. I don't know. I mean, they did have a couple of surfboards. That's all I can tell you. But I don't know. I don't know if they just wanted a theme. Because they're right, we're going to make this one a big show. Okay, what should we go with? And they've gone with, for some reason, Beach Break. I don't know. I don't disagree. It is a bit of a weird one. I don't disagree. I do like the themed shows, though. I do like the themed shows. I mean, I appreciate the fact this... Going into it felt like a bigger show than usual. One thing I like about Hausen is he talks through his matches and it's entertaining, said Master Chief. I want to see a Danhausen Sting promo where Danhausen accuses Sting of stealing his look. That would be fun. I'd be down for that. I would be down for that. One thing that you will like about Hausen is that he talks through his matches. The surfboard saved it, said Justin. Yeah, guys, come on. They had a couple of surfboards. You're being harsh. Right, you've had about 250 votes. Honestly, I would be in the 575 or below. I don't quite know where my score would be. I really don't know. But it would definitely be 575 or below. For me, as I said, just never got going. Never got started. I really liked the start of the ladder match, actually. And I didn't mind the cutter on the outside, as I said. And then as that went on, it just felt like it was more, now we're going to do this. It just felt like it was spot after spot. And that was enough for me to go, oh, no, don't really like this match now. Then, and the refs holding the ladders was weird. And then, as I said, the longer it just went on, the more I was like, I just couldn't find a way into the show, really. I think the next thing that I probably thought was, okay, this is good, was probably the Leyla Hirsch thing against Red Velvet. I mean, but even that was like, oh, this is fine. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine. It was fine. Even Britt Baker's promo seemed a bit off. CM Punk was like, I'm tired of talking, I'm here to wrestle. Then MJF came out and just spoke for ages. And it just went on a bit too long. And there was a lot of laying into Cleveland tonight to get that cheap heat, which is fine. But when you're sat here in the UK, seeing someone have a pop at Cleveland, you don't really care, to be honest. I ain't bothered. I don't care if you upset Cleveland. It makes no difference to me. And then, a lot of NFL references and whatever, but I get it. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure people in America enjoyed that. And, someone was explaining, the Britt Baker comment that she made about how you finally got a Baker you can be proud of. That kind of stuff just went over my head. So, I don't know, I just struggled in a way to find a way in with this one. But we'll wrap it up. We've broken through the 250 vote mark. They did the lights out match without turning the lights out, and having Bray showed up seems like a waste. Well, we don't know if Bray's ever going to go to AEW, but I think that he will, to be fair. But he's probably might still be doing his film and whatever, mightn't he? Well, we had 257 votes, and it seems like the community enjoyed it. 37% went 8 to 10. 31% said 7 to 7.5. 18% said 6 to 6.75. 12% said 5.75 or below. Kevin said, anyone who hasn't seen Danhausen is in for a treat. He is funny and entertaining. Just said that was me. Shout out to you, dude. Appreciate it. Hammer Studios. Appreciate it. Right, we're done. We are done. So, look, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed it, got something out of it. Seems like many of you did with 8 to 10 winning tonight. We are not around tomorrow. I'm going to be setting up the Rumble stream tomorrow. I'm going to be having to think about what to do on Sunday because I said we would do a retro stream. So I'm going to be giving that a bit of thought tomorrow. So I'm not around tomorrow. But, look, we're back on Friday with SmackDown and Rampage. And it is another Beach Break thing, isn't it? It's like Beach Break. I think, didn't they say Championship Friday? I don't remember a championship being on the line, though, to be honest. But either way. So that's on Friday. And then, of course, Royal Rumble. We will start at least an hour before the kickoff show. At least. It's going to be big, man. Looking forward to that Royal Rumble stream. And then, as we said on Sunday, we'll do something. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll do something. So, yes, awesome. Right, appreciate the support, my friends. Enjoy your evenings wherever you are. And hopefully, see you again next time. Bye for now.